OG, we OG, oh no, G. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload, yeah. Experts on reload, yeah. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock, ayy. Runes is coming, everybody on a knot, ayy. It's a nuisance, Ordinal Revolution, ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, is my guy for real, bro? Got friends right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro. Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, like it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nookies on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me. Bitcoin's alive, what you gon' do? Mempool fees are high. Ordinal. Where does it stop? Nobody knows. It's a revolution, ayy. Bitcoin is the one, no substitution, ayy. With Shizzy and Yagobi, it's Ordinal Revolution.
Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live from the Ordinal Hour. Well, I guess the Ordinal 3 hours today, guys. It's going to be a fun one. We're starting a little early today to kind of make sure that we have time for all our guests. We're going to do the normal show, and then we're going to have the Black Runner guys on at 1 hour from right now, and then Leonidas himself, the dog, will be joining us at 12 p.m. Eastern time, which is an hour and a half. And then we have Adam McBride joining us about 12:45 when he's done his show over there. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a long show. I hope you guys stick it out with us all the way through. But today's New Year's Eve. That's why we're kind of having this show. We had an amazing year. Yeah, Bitcoin went sideways for 6 months. But, you got to remember January, February, and March were so exciting. It was absolutely insane. And then November and December were absolutely crazy as well. So there's a lot to be thankful for. There's a lot to look forward to. And there's a lot going on right now. We're going to get into a lot of it. So without further ado, I'm bringing my partner here. As always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? Last day of 2024. Let's get it.
Yeah, man. I kind of want to start by getting your opinion on like the last 12 months. How do you feel about it? Are you satisfied with the year that we had?
So I was thinking a lot about this going into the show, kind of doing a review of 2024, and what I think happened, at least from my perspective, was 2023 was an amazing year, right? For us, a lot of the people that got into the Ordinals ecosystem, the Bitcoin ecosystem in general. And so because it was such a good year and it was so promising, I think we set these crazy expectations for 2024. And unfortunately, when that happens, many times you don't hit those expectations. And I think that's what happened in 2024. But that's not necessarily a bad thing for the space. It doesn't mean that the Bitcoin ecosystem didn't grow, because it for sure did grow. In fact, I think it was a huge net positive for the amount of builders that came in 2024. And but because of the expectations, at least for me specifically, I think we expected these Bitcoin layer 1 assets to really just hit turbocharge, even though typically the halving year isn't when alts or because the Bitcoin ecosystem assets, these layer 1 assets, are considered an alt. They're not Bitcoin themselves. To really jump and do crazy things. That's typically the post halving year, which would be 2025. So, but I am grateful for 2024 because I feel like we needed 2024, and I think we needed it because of the builders that came over. You got people building bridges to Cardano, bridges to Solana, bridges to every EVM chain. You have new solutions, scaling solutions in Arch Network. Merlin chain launched early this year. You have all these other Bitcoin layer 2s. And one part of the ecosystem that no one really talks about, but it's thriving, is BTC-Fi, right? Like this staking, restaking of Bitcoin. And so, yeah, that's kind of, I know that was a little bit of a long, response there, but that's how I felt about 2024 in a nutshell.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you. I think we had our hopes up too high, right? Like we weren't really looking back to 2020 and saying, Bitcoin really didn't do much until November, December. Like I don't know why we were expecting such a huge run up early, right? I guess because of DeFi summer, and I guess because of we were kind of expecting
ETF.
something like that to happen, and the ETF in January.
Yeah.
So and then he had Bob Lucas coming out and saying it's going to be he's either thinking a left translated cycle or an extended cycle. I think we were all kind of looking now to be an extended cycle. So I think that kind of messed me up too when you had guys as big as Bob Lucas kind of come out and say, left translated cycle. So we were like, okay, well, this is over in September, right? So, but in reality, we might be going into September of 2026. So I don't know. I guess my next question to you would be, what is your expectations for 2025?
Yeah. So, 2024 definitely reset my expectations to be more of, anything can happen type of situation, not necessarily have my expectations set in stone this way or that way. The one thing I do expect is that infrastructure will be a lot more built out, a lot more solidified. And so I think that's a bullish narrative that, will carry into 2025. But with having kind of low expectations of like, thousands of X's on these assets, I do think that they do well because they will be a lot more flexible in something like Arch Network and stuff like that. But so that's my expectation for 2025 is, I think the one thing that makes me feel good is the builders and in the marketplaces in the on-chain economy for Bitcoin has been established, right? That has never happened. Like it's number 2 now for NFT ordinals, whatever you want to call it, in terms of total volume with a much smaller user base. So for me, that projects the user base just needs to grow, and once that grows, I believe the ordinals will be the number 1 NFT chain. In terms of fungibles, that's where I think the catch up needs to happen, and that's going to be infrastructure needs to really fulfill its destiny. And one last thing I want to say is that there's some people, some audience members probably, and some other viewers, and I've seen on the timeline saying the Bitcoin ecosystem is behind. I actually even said that to you.
Yeah.
In terms of these hot narratives. But you have to remember, like the builders over here, they're so focused on infrastructure that their new narrative that they're creating is making this work, right? So they're putting all their time, effort, all their passion into this, making an infrastructure that's solid and that users want to come to and experience for these Bitcoin layer 1 assets. That is the innovation. That is the new thing. But because that focus is so much on those things, they're not going to be able to spend time to whip up, these AI like agent type of narratives and the pump fund stuff, and that's why those kind of come a little bit later. But I think once that's solidified in the spring, they will come up with their own new narratives, and I think that's when everything really gets hot.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, 2024 was basically infrastructure, and now 2025 is going to be the buildings on that infrastructure, right? You can see it like the infrastructure being the land, and everything's kind of building now. You can kind of see these institutions being built before our eyes with things like Arch, with things like Magic Eden was one of the biggest winners in the last 2 years. And they are a part of our ecosystem. They're the biggest thing in our ecosystem. So and now they have a token. They actually they're ready to rock. And I think there's a lot of different places in our ecosystem that are ready to rock. And I'm excited to kind of see what we're going to see in Q1. I think Q1 is going to be absolutely huge because you need to get out there in Q1 so you're successful in Q2 and Q3. So
absolutely.
Yeah, my expectation for 2025 is beyond beyond anything we've ever seen before. I don't know why. I just feel that way. There's no one can tell me different. I feel like 2025 is going to be absolutely explosive for many reasons. And the one would be no more Gary Gensler, no more administration that we have for the last 4 years. We have, a czar, a crypto and AI czar, and the fact that he's crypto and AI just makes me so bullish because that's basically where we're headed right now anyway with crypto. And it's like the things that are coming with potential Bitcoin, strategic reserve. I mean, if that happens, dude, if that happens, oh my god, it's going to be insane. I'm excited, can't wait. But we have a show to get to, so let's start rocking here. Okay, so this is really cool. I was kind of just cruising through and I seen this. Kind of get your opinion on this. So in 2013, on New Year's Eve, the price of Bitcoin was $754. 2014 was $320. 2015 was $431. And then 2016 was $964. And then boom, that was the halving year, right? Then we went to 1,400 and 156. And then we had a bear market year in 2018 with 3,743. We had that 2019 year where we went back up to 7,000. And then we had that big boom in 2020. Took us to 29,000 because it's really started in December of 2020, and then obviously we all know what happened in 2021, and then we started coming back down to 49,000. 2022 with that bear market year after FTX was 16,000. Man, what a time to buy! And then 2023 was 42,000. So almost a 2x from that point. And then in 2024 we see $95,650, kind of where we're at right now. What's your expectation for the 2025? Just looking at these numbers only.
I mean, so it's so I'm looking at 2016, 2017, 2020, 2021, right? And that percent gain should be decreasing over the a longer period of time. So if you look at the different, like the difference percent gain, right? So it's like, let's see. I know that you said you want me to just take a look, but I do want to do something real quick because I think it's, a good way to take a look. So between the 2016 and 2017, that was a 93% increase, right? And then you go from 2020 to 2021, and that is
80%?
It's showing a 41% increase. Yeah, 41% increase. So, it cuts down. That's the point that I wanted to make, was that, it cuts down. And so I think like a realistic expectation should be, maybe like 22%. Now, you might say, oh, well, I don't, that's not enough or whatever. You're not bullish enough, but I'm just going off of historical trends. Now, the difference is the ETF, right? So if that's the case, then you're looking at, let's say at 25%, then you're looking at a $23,000 increase, and that would put us at $120,000 on January 1st of 2020, or December 31st of 2025.
Yeah.
But do you think that makes sense or no?
Yeah, it definitely makes sense in that point. But like, just looking at these numbers, I would say we're gonna be like, probably at $180,000 next year. I think that's kind of where I'm seeing it. But I actually think we're gonna be way higher than that. I think we're gonna be 4x in my, I think we're 4x higher in next 12 months from right now. So, but I see where you're going for. You're being, you're
historical trend. So that's my digital
trends.
Marketing mind, because we look at like data all the time and we try to see what rhymes and what isn't rhyming and stuff like that. And so that's what I'm going off of that. But like, things can be absolutely crazy because it comes down to like a supply and demand factor at the end of the day.
Yeah, 100%. All right. So the next thing here, the stock market will be closed next Thursday, January 9th, to honor U.S. President Jimmy Carter. I think this is absolute bullshit. I think that, and I only bring this up for the fact that that is it, you can just tell it's a dying thing, right? That they're going to shut down the market for a president that was, I don't know, in my opinion, was kind of awful, and in a sense because the next election he lost in a landslide, right? So if you're a president in your 4 years and you lose in a landslide, not even close, then I don't think you should, and then you don't run again. I don't think you should get a day of honor on January 9th where the stock market shuts down. Like, why shut down the stock market? It's so stupid. I hate TradFi.
Yeah, so I don't know about that. Like, that was obviously a recent thing. He was a part of the Democrat Party, so I think like the current administration that's in power is kind of doing this as a respect thing. But the weird thing to me is just pointing out that the stock market is going to be shut down. I don't know if that is someone else on X that's pointed that out, or if the administration
No,
themselves
it's an
mentioned
article
that.
from the administration. Yeah.
Then that's weird. Yeah, that is definitely weird. I don't know why they would just not just say, we'll have a national day to honor him or whatever. But pointing that out specifically to me is definitely weird and makes me curious as to why.
Yeah. It's stupid. It's like I think they're afraid they don't want to do it federally, so they're just shutting down something. It's just so stupid. I hate this administration, and I don't know.
Hmm.
Let's keep it moving. This is really cool. This kind of shows me that we could be really bullish coming up in the next couple months here. So, stablecoin reserves near a record 45 billion, signaling potential buying pressure and bullish to start 2025. So, have never seen this much stablecoins kind of sitting here right now, because a lot of people pulled they pulled their stable coins off. They went back into cash in their banks and stuff like that because of FTX. And then now you're kind of seeing this huge number up. People are getting ready, dude, and they're not buying yet. So, which is weird to me, but we've never seen this before in history, like nowhere even close to this.
Yeah, that's very interesting. It's like this is the epitome of the money on the sidelines, right?
Yeah.
Is that they're ready to deploy. Like, why else would they be in stable right now?
Yep.
So I don't know if they're just waiting for the catalyst signal of okay, it's time to buy alts or what, but that's a lot of stable reserves. So I don't know. It's exciting though because it shows that people are ready to they're getting ready to deploy it.
And that's the thing too, is like, so these aren't stock guys that are doing this. The old stock guys, they've all put their money in these ETFs. This is crypto people that are getting ready to buy these altcoins. And this is money that's waiting for Bitcoin to signal, hey, I'm going to be going down now against the altcoins. The dominance dropping. This is so bullish to me. I've never seen anything more bullish right now, and everyone's just kind of waiting for that signal. And I guess that signal would be for ETH to get back to all-time high. I think that's the only thing that I can think of being the signal.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
All right. The next piece of news kind of pissed me off a little bit. Coinbase launched its verification platform Thursday, bringing know your customer policies on chain. The exchange said launching identity verification on chain protocol level increases security, and they have this big article here. I went through it yesterday, and it just I don't know. I liked Coinbase, but this kind of was making me mad. And then I started to think, there needs to be a chain for these older people, right, and stuff like that. So maybe they're trying to be that. I don't know. What's your opinion on this? Because I initially hated it, and then I'm starting to kind of be okay with it.
Yeah. So, did you want regulation from like governments?
In Bitcoin, yeah, stay away from my DeFi. But
Yeah, but it's inevitable that that the government's gonna because what happens and this is an unfortunate truth is that there's a lot of corporate money in all governments, right? And so the big players and banks, if they say banks are like, okay, if you guys want this, then this needs to happen. You got to protect us and protect our users, and it comes down to kind of it's just argument of we need to protect society and all this stuff. And there isn't a great counter argument from like a high level. Obviously, people like us, yes, like we can argue all day about why keeping it decentralized and stuff is important, but it's never gonna hold up in like these type of back and forth, right, with these
Yeah.
large corporations. So I think that's what's happening. Coinbase realized, look, they're public, you know, they're probably getting approached with, you know, billions and billions of dollars of
Yeah.
support and stuff like that. And so this is inevitable, and I'm not shocked that this is happening. You're
Yeah.
going to see this more.
No, I agree. And like someone like David Sachs, who's going to be the crypto czar, he's going to push for this. He's TradFi at the end of the day, right? He's a SaaS investor. But yeah, it was inevitable, but I just hate seeing it. It's one of those things where it's like you're going to get a Coinbase wallet that's hooked up to your Coinbase account that you're going to be forced to use if you want to do anything in the future. And I definitely want to avoid that, to where your wallet is your KYC, right? Because you can lose
Yeah.
your keys to that wallet, or creating another wallet, or having too much in one wallet. I don't know.
Yeah. So what about if you use like a MetaMask on Base? Because I would imagine that you know, this is regarding Base mostly, you know.
Yeah, well, I think what's going to happen is a lot of these protocols are going to be forced to, if you don't KYC that wallet, you're not going to be able to use that protocol. Like,
Gotcha.
be able to sign into, to your account before you were able to connect your wallet and you're ready to go. Now you're going to connect your wallet and you have to connect it to your Coinbase
Identity.
account. Yeah.
That's going to be very, very interesting.
We will see. We will see. $1.5 trillion asset manager Franklin Templeton says we expect to see a strategic Bitcoin reserve added by several nations, not just the U.S., in 2025. Do you see multiple nations added a strategic reserve next year? I mean, we're talking the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah. I think that once the new administration's in and the conversation starts to get increased, right now it's kind of been a little bit tamed, like the conversation of Bitcoin and crypto. But once the administration switches over, there's going to be another unfortunate truth, because this is the title that we have to give them, but lobbyist out, if you will, kind of from the crypto industry, that will be pushing to have those conversations more public.
Yeah.
Right. And then I think what will happen is, you know, once other nation states see this, that they'll feel more FOMO. We saw FOMO, kind of the first round of nation state FOMO in Q4 of this year. I think we're going to see like the big FOMO of nation states Q1 of next year. And you know, that leads up to like the DeFi moment. And, you know, some of these nation states might pick Ethereum's ETF as well, where, you know, they might say, well, let's do part and part, you know, because Ethereum in their mind has more X's or whatever, has a more chance for us to make more with that, right? Or Solana ETF or something like that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. But Bitcoin ETF is what starts it. And of course, that's what we'll see first in terms of the FOMO.
Man. I agree 100%. BlackRock and MicroStrategy now hold a combined nearly 1 million Bitcoin. So this is 1 million Bitcoin that was kind of in the market, right? It was kind of OTC at this time, I want to say last year. But right now we saw a million Bitcoin actually being taken by these entities, and this is all being held by Coinbase, which is kind of funny in that sense, because they're the custodian for both of these guys. But do you see this getting to 2 million next year? Do you see a full 100% deposit, I guess you could say?
I'm not sure, man, because, you know, it really depends on how the market is. You know, with the BlackRock side, it's different than the MicroStrategy side. The BlackRock side is, you know, individual clients that are, you know, bought into this, and they can sell that whenever they want. Now, does BlackRock take it off, or kind of just take it off of their books only and hold on to it themselves because it's for their next client to buy it? That's where I think we need to probably learn more about and see how that works, because as of right now, they don't have a public way of viewing their Bitcoin and all that stuff, right? So if you are a client of theirs, you have to request to see, like, you know, where your Bitcoin exists within Black, and you can do that. And so it's just going to be interesting to see how that works, because if they end up keeping most of it on books, then, or you know, keeping most of it, and then just changing books basically for the next client to come in, then then I can see that just increasing. But 2 million, oh man, that'd be a lot, right? And then you have to also remember what Bitcoin's price is going to be at that point. You know, they've been buying from, you know, Sailor from 20,000, but like BlackRock, I don't know when they started, but you know, so it's going to get more and more expensive. But BlackRock is more based on demand of the market versus MicroStrategy, which has demand of the market because Saylor does buy all the time anyways, and especially when it's bullish, it seems like he buys more. But 2 million is a lot.
It is. No, I agree. But I think we see like 3 million. And the reason I say that is because I see a lot of people who held Bitcoin. Like for instance, my old boss, he bought a couple Bitcoin back, when Bitcoin was like 50,000, and he was already telling me, he was like, hey, yeah, now the ETF sale, I'm probably going to sell that Bitcoin there and just buy it in the stock market. I feel more comfortable there than Coinbase, and especially with the FTX stuff. So I see a lot of people who potentially held Bitcoin over the years, kind of transitioning that Bitcoin into the ETF itself, just for the sense. But they do have to pay the taxes on that as well when they do sell it to buy the ETF. So that might be a reason that doesn't happen. But I do see a lot of these big people who had Bitcoin over the years kind of transitioning itself to the ETF.
Yeah, I actually could see BlackRock working some sort of deal out with like regulation to avoid that the payment of taxes when you transition. That's something that I would not be shocked to see being in the regulations for next year. But that's very interesting though, like the mindset of someone that, your boss is at a high level of a company, probably has a solid salary, and so he dabbles with his TradFi portfolio, but he feels more comfortable, which to me is wild that unless he held it on like a Coinbase account or another
Coinbase. Just
okay.
Coinbase.
Yeah, and I still think there's that education of holding your Bitcoin in cold storage, but some of those people, they don't care. They actually trust the machine more because it's worked in their favor. The upper let's say like 5% of earners in our country trust that system, that financial system, because it's worked well for them. I think the part of the country that doesn't trust the financial system is like the ones that are like middle class and below, because they're just kind of like I don't use their products, or they want to get rid of crypto, which was my way of making money and stuff like that. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how this plays out for next year.
I think BlackRock alone gets to 3 million, and MicroStrategy gets anywhere between 700K. So I do think that maybe 3x from here, in that sense, because you got to remember too is like this Roth IRA stuff. Now you're gonna be able to put your crypto ETF in that and not pay any tax and stuff. Like, you're gonna see a lot of that coming as well. So I think BlackRock gets to 3 million Bitcoin alone. But we'll see. We will see. Now I'm just worried about Coinbase holding all this damn Bitcoin, but we'll see. CoinDesk came out with an article saying ETH is expected to outperform Bitcoin in 2025 and could more than double to at least $8,000. Do you think this happens in Q1? I think we both think this 8,000 Ethereum is going to happen. I think Ethereum hits 16 to 20,000 in this upcoming year to 12 to 15 months. I think that this is definitely going to happen. I think ETH hits $8,000 in the next 3 months.
Yeah, I kind of talked to you about this, outside of the show, in terms of, like if you think about like the average experience crypto Twitter person, let's say that they were here all last 5 years or whatever, last cycle, and in their mind they're like, ETH is not going to hit the numbers that we expect. Like ETH is dead, ETH is dying. We heard a lot of that. We still hear some of it. I think absolutely the opposite, because of the Ethereum ETF, right? So like this is a play actually for like the entities to kind of do what we did last time, but like, they're gonna, in my opinion, a lot of them are going to, shuffle those Bitcoin profits from the ETF into the Ethereum ETF. We actually started seeing signs of that already, right? The outflow of Bitcoin and inflow of Ethereum ETF. That can spark also alt season as well, because then retailers will just automatically think, alt season's here, Ethereum's going up, blah blah blah, right? So this will be actually a really good thing, because it can kind of psychologically take out the idea that Bitcoin's only going up because of the entities and Bitcoin ETF, even if that's true, which probably a lot of that is. The alt season kind of switch turned on would be Ethereum coming up and the entities making money on that and with the ETF and stuff. So I think that's the really smooth transition between TradFi and retail for the cycle.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think alt season doesn't really start I don't care what AI agents are doing. I don't care what Solana's doing. Alt season doesn't really start where we get that euphoria in the markets where it's just absolutely insane until two things happen. The first thing is ETH getting up to all-time high. And the second thing is the DXY getting back down to ranges of like 102, 101. It's at 107 right now. Like there's too much money in cash. And I think by the end of this year, you're going to see the DXY at like 99,000 or I'm sorry, $99. And you're going to see Ethereum, closer to that $16,000 mark. And I don't think it really starts until DXY gets to 102 and ETH gets to, 5,000.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The last bit here is kind of funny. Chinese state-sponsored hackers breached the U.S. Treasury Department's computer security guardrails this month and stole documents in what Treasury called a major incident. My first thing was I do not want our U.S. government to hold any keys. I want them to hold any Bitcoin keys because if it's this easy to hack, national security documents, like give it to Coinbase. Like I do not trust these government employees to hold anything that is like related to crypto whatsoever. This was scary.
Yeah, I saw that. But it's interesting that they put that news out though. It's almost kind of like, you wouldn't want to because it makes you look horrible, but
yeah. The fact they're blaming China, right? It's like it's always the China. Like I felt like we were like, always pushed to hate China, which is ridiculous. It's just I don't know. It's propaganda for sure. But moving on to the next thing here. Let's get into the fear and greed. So last Tuesday we were at a 73. Yesterday we're at a 65. My hint for you is pretty much like yesterday. But what do you think we are at today?
If it was like yesterday, then 64.
Perfect.
Hey!
Good job, man. Hit it on the nose there. So it's at a 64 right now with crypto fear and greed. So we're just sideways. We're kind of waiting for something to happen. And I think, maybe we take a run up into the new year. We'll see. We will see.
Yeah.
But let's kind of get into that Bitcoin price action brought to you by BitPerp. BitPerp is going to be the leading leverage trading exchange in the entire Bitcoin ecosystem. They're going to allow you to trade your runes and pretty much anything over there on BitPerp, anything related to the Bitcoin ecosystem. That's why we love it. That's why we're partnered with them. These guys are building something really special and probably going to launch in 2025. But their paper trading we know is definitely going to be coming in probably in a week. You can go there right now and earn during the raffle. We're going to put out a tutorial so walk you guys through how to use Botonics. Get you have to get the what's that called, the
USDT?
Money into your account, USDT and the Bitcoin. And we're going to walk you through all of that stuff. Just make sure you guys go to bitperp.io, check these guys out. And, the BTP token is their token and potentially could be an airdrop opportunity as well. So.
Yep. And before we get into the Bitcoin price action, if you wouldn't mind on the YouTube side, smashing that like for us and then subscribing to the channel and turning notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, please share the space, guys. We have a bunch of great guests on and we want to educate and onboard as many people as possible and hit that like for us as well. Also, we want you guys to prepare some questions if you have any for Leonidas about dog, runes, ordinals, as well as the block runners that are going to be coming on, I believe, after them. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then we're gonna finish it up with Adam McBride.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
11:30 Black Runner, 12 Leonidas, and then 12:45 Adam McBride.
Gotcha. Okay. So a little bit flip. But anyways, yeah. So if you guys have any questions, just drop them in the chat for them. But let's go ahead and jump into the Bitcoin price action, which has been just everywhere. I mean, honestly, it's just literally has been everywhere. Let's take a look here. All right. As always, I'm starting with the 1 hour chart. Hopefully that's big enough for you guys. But as you can see here, Bitcoin is not looking too bad. So there is a little bit of correction happening right now. As you can see right now, it's a little bit less than 95.3. It's like 95,000. But we did pull back up. That was a little bit of a surprise because all of the gains yesterday were automatically like wiped out right afterwards. So it looked like the market makers were definitely liquidation shopping yesterday, faking people out up and down. Right now, it does seem like it's a little bit more stable. You know, we did get to, I believe, right at 96,000, maybe a little bit higher actually, today. And so right now it's just pulling back, kind of like that pendulum swing back. But it looks actually not bad for the last day of the year, right? Especially with what we've been dealing with, I would say, the past 3 to 5 days. Anyways, the stochastics looks like it's probably exhausted here on the buy side, heading back down at 88. Once it gets to 80 and you see that decrease happening consistently, then probably going to swing back down. The MACD looks okay still, as long as we keep that blue line, you know, pointed kind of like it's still looking like it wants to go up, because I do think that like we're probably seeing a little bit just of a pendulum swing back, and then we might even see Bitcoin going a little higher than we did this morning. So that is what I'm seeing for the second half of today. You know, I would not be shocked if we get back to 96,000, maybe 96.3 around there. And then the 8-hour chart, which is that shows us kind of like a week forecast. Actually, not looking bad. We were looking pretty bad here. As you can see, we had a lot of sell down here. Then we had this beautiful green candle that happened this morning. And you can see the stochastic wants to go up. Also, the blue line on the MACD looks like it's pointing up. So we might end up having like a decent first week of January. So that's what I'm hoping. You know, like at this point, I think a lot of people are waiting for like these Bitcoin layer 1 assets and like alt season to start. So I don't think like that's like the big focus right now. I think it's more about, you know, like in terms of Bitcoin, sorry. I don't think Bitcoin's price action, like jumping to like 130 is the big focus right now. I think that will happen organically and naturally, but it could start to, you know, show some bullish sentiment here in the next week. But that's what I'm seeing for Bitcoin's price action. And then I do want to check out the dominance chart real quick for you guys to show maybe like where we are with Bitcoin's dominance on the daily chart. So we are still at 58.03. So we are still too high in terms of, you know, kicking off alt season, right? And so we definitely need to come back down here. But for that to happen, we need alts to get a bit aggressive and for Bitcoin to probably maybe chill out a little bit. But that is where we are in terms of Bitcoin's dominance. So hopefully that helps you guys.
Man. Do you see anything happening tonight on the charts at all that could potentially maybe go boom into the new year?
If I go to the 4-hour chart here, the 4-hour actually does not look bad at all.
Yeah.
The 4-hour does not look bad at all. Yeah, I mean, if this plays out, you know, do I see, I mean, like, I don't see any like necessarily like bearish divergence or anything. Yeah, I don't see anything here. I mean, this is kind of a weird because it just went straight up. Yeah, I mean, this looks okay. You know, so the 4-hour will give you more of like a 2 to 3 day, but if that aligns with the 1-hour, then I think you're in a pretty safe kind of place. Now, the 1-hour has chilled out a little bit, but if this, you know, shows strength again, which it looks like Bitcoin just actually popped back up here. So yeah, wouldn't be shocked if we do see a little bit of bullish energy for, you know, tonight and tomorrow.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, because we're about 12 hours away from 2025. It's pretty wild to think about. All right, let's get into the roll call. Let's see who is here today. But first, I want to check out the graveyard. I saw Mr. Hanky in the graveyard. I'm sorry, Mr. Hanky. He left us a good message, though. He said, thank you for all your golden alpha that you shared throughout 2024. Happy New Year. Shout out to Mr. Hanky in our graveyard. Appreciate you, my friend. But on this show, I can only go by what I'm seeing, and I'm seeing Webdro in that #1 spot.
Hey.
Like always, that's his home. Shout out to Webdro, bright and shiny Bitcoin Alpha. Thank you indeed. Thank you so much, Webdro, for everything you do for our show, man. Appreciate you. Danny Boy, our guy, man. Love Danny Boy. Hope you have an amazing New Year and stay safe, guys. Yasher out there, always lovely. Yasher is my dude. Matthew Boyley, shout out Matthew in here. Thank you so much for being here. Claudia Yu is here. Claudia Yu, man. All year you've been here, buddy. Thank you guys so much. Every person who's been here. We got someone new. We got the Penny Raider. I think I said your name before. You've made roll call before.
Yeah,
definitely.
he's
Penny
been
Raider.
here.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here today. Zap is here. Shout out to Zap's GM. Happy New Year. Akala is here. I love you, Akala. Always here, man. Always here. Nagi is here. Jacob Donahue. You were here a lot, during the summer when things were bearish. Shout out to you, man. And you're rocking with us still. Mike Bennett, every single day, Mike. Buying from our store. We appreciate you, my friend. Tough one here. Debieo, right?
Adadeo.
Adideo.
Adadeo. Yeah.
Thank
I'm
you
not
so
gonna
much for
try the
being here
last
today.
name.
Thank you so much for being here today. Appreciate you, Akala, again. Akala says there must be another upward movement. Otherwise, I cannot call bulls. I do not feel bulls in this market. Yeah, I think a lot of bulls are maybe waiting for next year. That's a good point. Mike Bennett says the rubber band is being pulled back for the real bull market. Yes, love it, love it. Steamy J is here. Patty Poo, the Bitcoin machine himself. As always, appreciate you, my friend. Mike Bennett says you are not bullish enough. Yeah, man. Augustine Gray is here. He says eyes def not bullish enough. Let's go. Sixes is here. He's been here all year with us, man. Teamsters should negotiate Bitcoin into their Amazon drivers, man. That would be huge. Yeah, that would be huge. Augustine says, "Hey, question: when AI agents start using their Bitcoin ecosystem, which rails are they going to choose to run on? Track, Tap? I think they choose to run on Arch. I think Arch will be the place. What do you think?
Well, I mean, you know, pre-show prep, you mentioned
Yeah,
that they don't technically, it doesn't matter about the technology stack, the tech
yeah,
stack of whatever wallet they're using. Matter of fact, they can use Bitcoin layer 1.
yeah,
It might take, a longer time for their transactions or whatever. But in terms of coins, though, like if there's going to be a coin that's launched on side of it, yeah, I would say they would utilize something like Arch. Maybe if Tap just increases a little bit of the speed, because I think that's what's
yeah,
going to be the differentiator, is that Arch is going to have everything updated within their system. So you can feel like it's like everything's moving fast and you can keep doing whatever you want within Arch. And so that's what is going to make the difference.
yeah. And I think AI agents are kind of the solution for smart contracts in the Bitcoin. I think we're not going to need smart contracts over here because the AI agents will do everything that ETH can do, but for us, right? So the only thing a smart contract does is there's no third party, and an AI agent can do that for us. It can be that third party that is fully on chain. You're going to be able to see everything they're doing and every aspect, and then you're going to be able to look under the hood and see why they did certain things. Right,
Yeah.
because this happened, and you're gonna be able to structure their code in a certain way. Where these AI agents are basically like, think of it as like an RPG game. They're like level 5 right now. They're gonna get to points of like level 50 and 60 where they're just fully mature. Right now, they're just chatbots that can do a few things, but eventually, probably it's probably gonna move really quickly. The next 6 months, these AI agents are gonna be looked at as like a smart contract. That's my
Yeah.
opinion.
Well, if that does happen, if it does occur, and let's say that they are like, because they don't have, if they're coded the correct way in a decentralized
Yeah,
way to where there's no bias or manipulation involved, then they can truly act as a decentralized, I guess, like operator, right? Which
yeah.
could replace the smart contracts. But I think this actually creates a huge opportunity if that happens, if the market shifts that way. It creates a huge opportunity for the auditors for AI bots, because
Yeah.
you got to make sure that there's no backdoor. If there's a backdoor for the original developer or creator, then you're screwed, just like smart contracts.
Yeah.
So
But that's the best thing about these AI agents is you can create them to audit themselves, right? You can or have another AI agent audit it. Like AI agents are going to be the best auditors because they're going to know the system inside and out. So it's like you're not even going to need, in my opinion, you're not even going to need auditors because the AI agents is going to just be, you're going to ask it like, hey, where can I attack you? And it's going to tell you, right? Because it's already going to know inside and out of every single thing that it
it
can and can't
depends.
do.
Unless someone manipulates that code for the AI and says, "Don't answer to these type of questions,"
Well,
right?
that's
So
the thing. We're gonna have to lock the code. Like that's the one thing that I do see happening.
That's where I think the auditors can come in and say, hey, look,
Yeah.
there's no proxy to this, kind of like how the proxies
Yeah.
exist for smart contracts, to where it looks like it's all buttoned up, but there's a backdoor
Yeah.
to where they can change it and stuff like that. So, you know, we'll see, because like we're all still learning about this industry, you know, and but it's interesting because we were talking about this being a solution for Bitcoin in general, in terms of doing a lot of the, you know, back end stuff instead of smart contracts, right? But the future is, I think, interesting, bright, exciting at the same time.
Yeah, man. Mike Bennett says stables for Farcoin. Choda is here. Mike Bennett, KYC is very unpopular. Yep. And then I Walk Alone says KYC equals pay your taxes. Yep. Mike Bennett says there's no need. There needs a middle ground, something without picture ID for the world. Yeah, we'll see with that, something like that comes. Let's see who else is here. We have Conspiracy Crypto. What's up, fam? What's up, Conspiracy? Your first time making roll call. Appreciate you, my friend. Mats is here. Happy New Year. I got my man Los, my brother. He says, let's end it with the bang. Congrats, boys. What a year. Los is actually working. He's working on our new 2-minute intro. So shout out to Los. He's gonna knock that out for us. And then Jason, my feet. Happy New Year's, guys. Really appreciate you keeping up with everything in ecosystem and sharing it. Learned a ton from you guys. Thank you so much, Jason, my feet. But yeah. But thank you all, man. Every single person who's made roll call this year. I just want to say thank you. You guys are the reason why we do this every single day. And guys, we do this every day. There's no one in this ecosystem that like us at all. We do this, we do this every single day. We are here, sitting here, making sure you guys know what's going on. And that's just kind of our goal. So
Yep. Jason, my feet. Please launch a collection, Ordinals collection next year. I'm not don't launch one of your feet, but you know, something funny based on that. I don't know where.
So are you saying you want feet pics? Is that
no? I'm not saying I want feet pics, but like every time I read that username, I crack up. Like it makes me laugh. Like no matter if I'm in like the crappiest moods, like I just crack up because I'm like, Jason, how could you Jason someone's feet? And then I'm just like, oh shit, like you literally just create like a collection, you know, and stuff like that. So it's funny.
You do realize you're gonna get feet pics in your DMs.
Oh man, don't send me feet pics, please. That is not where that meant to go.
A few things here before the block runner joins us. Fluid Tokens adds dedicated.
You forgot
ZK
somebody.
Team. Who?
He's upset. Pelpa, our guy Pelpa.
How did I miss Pelpa? Where were you?
I think he came in at the end.
Okay, shout out to Pelpa. Always here, man. Appreciate you, my friend. Yagobi, check DMs. Apparently, you're getting some feet pics.
Oh man!
Merry New Year's Eve. Shout out to you, Pelpa. I'm sorry I missed you, man. I just went to the banners right after Jason my feet, but I appreciate you, Pelpa, all year, man. All year. Thank you so much. But yeah, so let's get into this this one banner here. So I thought this was pretty big from Fluid. They added dedicated ZK dev team for both Midnight Network and Cardano. Fluid will be Midnight zero knowledge lending protocol. So that Fluid is just expanding in ways not just in the Bitcoin ecosystem but Cardano. So owning the FLDT token or getting yourself a pass and then staking that pass for the FLDT rune could be very lucrative, man. Fluid, in my opinion, was probably one of the biggest winners this year.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, there's certain parts of the ecosystem that kind of still overlooks them, but it's not intentional. They're just, you know, need to learn about, you know, what they're doing and stuff like that. But yeah, it's awesome to see, man. It's almost to the point where sometimes it's hard to keep up with like their new updates. You know what I mean? Because they're constantly 100%. Just crushing it.
Always crushing it. And Fluid Tokens said dog and memento mori rewards have been distributed and will be claimable in less than 24 hours. So the people that were that staked, I forget what they staked, but they were able to earn you know, memento mori and dog. So congratulations to you if you guys earned that, and you'll be able to claim it probably tomorrow. So
yeah,
for that.
Well, it was actually they were staking dog.
They were staking dog and they were memento mori and dog. Okay,
exactly. But
yep. Piece of news here. If anyone holding the WZRD BRC20, it will be migrating from BRC20 to Rune. So it is official. That will be the Magic Internet Money token. That'll be the ticker for the new wizard. How do you feel about this? Kind of getting rid of WZRD, and it will be 1-to-1 with the Magic Internet Money token.
Yeah, so I think they were kind of waiting to see like how the market would respond, you know, in terms of BRC20 and stuff. So, but they're finally making that push. So I think this is actually bullish for Runes because you know they went over the data and stuff like that and said, okay, Runes is the place we need to go to. So that's what that tells me.
The Wizard token, if it keeps the same market cap, it'll be number 2 right now behind Dog.
I know, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild because Pups took a huge hit. Pups down to 100 million. But so potentially, but the Wizard, no one's dumping this. There's a whale who minted this that's just holding it. We don't know if he is still alive or whatever, but there's a whale who has like 6% of the supply and he's never moved one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting. But remember, Pups has like a $17 million treasury, so they can.
I don't know if it's that much anymore, but
yeah, true. You know, but that's the crazy thing about Pups is like I feel like it's hard for them to consistently go down because of that. They can always, you know, deploy more capital. I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but I'm just saying when you have that kind of treasury, you have purchasing power. So
100%. Piece of news here: Odin Swap introducing. Let me show the screen here. Introducing Valhalla on BTC, the next gen integrated automated market maker Runes launchpad. So they're basically kind of doing what BTC.fun is doing, and so they're basically having you mint out your rune, and then you'll be using their launchpad. So they said fair launches, trade anytime, liquidity mining, no more front running invalid mints, because they'll be minting the whole thing themselves and having you use their site to kind of do this. Pretty big, right? Odin Swap, you know, with the Keeb and those guys from Ordzar, they're really kind of pushing this Valhalla on BTC.
Yeah. I mean, it does seem like the basically a centralized version of BTC.fun, right? But you know, that's awesome. You know, Nakeeb's our guy. We talk to him a lot, and you know, so best of luck to Odin Swap and Valhalla. I think having more and more of these different options for products is good.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I love this. I think this is just more bullish for Runes, right? More bullish for our ecosystem, and potentially you can probably launch some AI coins this way as well. So we will see.
Yep.
All right, the last thing here. I think it's the last thing. No, I got one more thing besides this. So Slippers ruled the world from BTC.fun. So if you go over here yesterday, it had a huge momentum push. I came out of nowhere. I didn't see it. I wasn't able to get in it, but you can see it's $12 million market cap. So this thing is up 4,500%. So people who minted it are up a lot. You know, 2,000 holders. This is we're hearing that this was a cabal type of group. It was a group that
Well,
came
the
in
idea
and did this,
is, so it's like, yeah, people are trying to figure out what degenerate actually launched this because it definitely sounds degenerate, but it got to $12 million really quick. So
insane.
Yeah.
Especially when you see 83,000, 8,000, 33,000. Like there's nothing that's even in the millions over here. But then you see that one that really is taking off. But it's probably just an alpha group called it, and they all just went.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. And they have a website or a domain. They don't have any content on there. So there's some interesting ones that are in minting right now, and people are learning how to use this platform, right? So you know, like for example, there's an AI Panda one, which I think would be really cool, but they might have put their mint cap too big, and it might not mint out within time. You know, so
Yep. And you got this one, Biddy, which is the Bitcoin Diddy, is one that I deployed. Got 23 holders now. So if you guys are interested, it's like $3 to get in that. And then that's, I don't really see, oh, there's your token, right? You got the where's yours? You still in here?
I might have bumped to the second
page.
but yeah.
you
But
got
I mean, those were for just competition,
just
so
around.
people to guess what they are.
And
stuff.
Max
So that was
and Mike Ben, I'm still going to
really
send you
fun.
your tokens today. What you're saying? Sorry.
I was just saying that was a fun little kind of game, you know, for us to play with our community. But yeah, you know, it's interesting. You know, there's definitely some usage happening on this platform. I do think that like there's going to be probably like a big AI token or something, you know, a project token that ends up like crushing it. But as of right now, you have the top 2 tokens. You have one at 30.89 million in party, and then the slippers rule the world. So it's pretty cool. You have one BRC, 5-ticker BRC20, and one rune that are the top 2 as of right now. So
Yep. All right, let's get into the big story of today. It's the Quantum Cats. I haven't heard much heard of them, but Udi posted this yesterday. Says it's breaking. The Quantum Cats treasury has acquired 2.1 million AI XBT for 1.1 million USD at an average price of 52 cents per token. We have also sent AI XBT agent a second Quantum Cat. Why are we doing this? We experienced AI XBT's dominance over crypto Twitter mindshare this weekend. We are happy to top blast the chart here. We are bullish on AI dominating the attention over the cycle. Switching to a quantum cat PFP helped AI XBT push his AI agent mindshare over 65%. AI XBT might decide to switch back to his original PFP at some point, or he might choose to embrace his new feline for longer. Either way, we will forever be a part of the Quantum Cats community. He will always be part of the Quantum Cats community, and therefore the Quantum Cat will support him on his mission. We will continue to monitor AI XBT's journey and might decide to add more to our position in the future. Gmail. P.S. If you think AI XBT will continue to grow his mindshare by keeping his Quantum Cat as a PFP, you should let him know. Tweet directly at him from your timeline. He will ignore replies to the thread. So,
yeah,
what do you think about all this? A lot to unpack
smart.
here.
Another smart play by Udi and the people that are in charge of Quantum Cats. You know what I mean? Dude, like before AI XBT blew up, I mean, it was already kind of getting there. Like I saw a back and forth between Charles Hoskinson and AI XBT, and it tricked him. Like he wasn't looking at that automated part, and he thought he was having a back and forth. And it was funny. I was just like, this is the best X bot that I have seen that sounds like a smart human and actually is great at shit posting. And because of that, like it won. And I think that a lot of people are going to try to really mimic that because it is the best AI marketing tool on X right now.
Yeah, 100%. I actually go to him for news now. Like I started I like this morning I went to his check because he posts like every 30 minutes, right? And it's always news about different ecosystems and stuff that I didn't even know, which is a really cool way. So these AI XBT, like these AI agents they're gonna run stuff. My only thing is when is it gonna be like 95 AI agents and they're all just in each other's comments, right? Going nuts. But this is just level 1, right? This is like these are just chatbots right now. They can access their wallet, they can change their PFP, but this is just level 1. But this is also meme coins 2.0, right? Because they at the end of the day, they are just meme coins, right?
I mean, yeah, if you launched one alongside it, right? Like with virtuals is really hot right now. So it definitely can change the dynamic of meme coins. I agree with that 100%. But we'll see if it does. Right now, the mind share is like 90% in that sector. So
So I guess like the conversation goes from here is I last night I started digging into AI stuff like that, and I've discovered that if these meme coins, if these communities don't get together and create a AI bot for their community, they're going to be left behind in meme coin 1.0 land. And people that are saying, we're in a meme coin super cycle, I think the meme coins are over. I think, either going to evolve into a meme AI agent, or you're going to kind of just be, you'll do a 2-3x from here, maybe a 4 or 5x. That's fine. But the ones that do evolve, the ones who do take the initiative, who become, more than just a meme coin with these AI agents, and these AI agents can do something really cool. You can set them. Their sole purpose is to burn that coin. Right. And what does that do? That makes everyone else's coins more valuable. Satoshi has said this. When somebody accidentally loses a Bitcoin, you basically make a donation to all the other Bitcoiners because now their coins are a little bit more valuable because there's less in supply. So they can take that same initiative and use it for these bots and say, hey, your sole purpose is to earn money. And what you're going to do with this money is you're going to buy and burn the token. So that's all they want to do for their entire lifespan is to buy and burn the token. And what are some things that these can get paid for? I was looking into this. Twitter has a premium service when you hook up to their premium, they can get out like, hey, I found some alpha, and only give it to their premium users. So they, let's just say they get $5 for each subscriber, then they take that money and they buy back and burn the token. And that's just one of the aspects. They can have, you know, premium services on their website. They can do so much, dude. These AI bots can earn so much money, and their sole purpose could be to buy and burn the token, which makes the holders absolutely happy because there's less tokens on the market because they're buying them from the market directly and then burning them. What do you think about all that? Uh-oh. Yagobi, I don't know. Did you freeze? Oh no, Yagobi frozen right on the question. But I'm curious what you guys think. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about potentially these AI agents coming and you know, potentially their sole purpose is to burn their token? Let me know in the comments, guys. What do you guys think? But this is absolutely insane to me that this is something that's going to be happening. And you know, AI XBT with their token, I mean, I don't think he's really even started really going after his own token and burning it. So it's gonna be pretty insane to see. But it made me really bullish on Butoshi's token there. So let's take a look at that while we wait for Yagobi to get back here. But it's only at a $5 million market cap and stuff like that. So, but yeah, actually, let's bring in the Black Runner. Wait for Yagobi. What's up, guys? How's it going?
Dude? What's going on, Shizzy?
What up?
So Yagobi just froze. We hear you great, man. Yagobi just froze. He should be back in a minute. But how are you guys doing, man?
Oh, dude, it's early morning for some of us. It's
just me. I'm not typically.
This is like an early afternoon for me.
Standard stuff for you. But yeah, man, we're good. I guess we got what, like 13 and a half hours left.
That's right.
Of this year, dude. One hell of a year it's been, for sure. We're already like losing our minds trying to like theory craft what next year is going to look like. It's driving us a little like cuckoo in a sense, just to like imagine like an AI economy takeover. Very weird.
Yeah, the difference between 1 year and the next year is like completely different.
Yeah,
like one whole year we're looking for what's the new stuff, and all of a sudden all the new stuff just piles in.
It just shows up.
Yeah, it just shows up.
It's been there all along.
Yeah. So how are you guys doing?
Doing good. I just froze, and so my computer froze, but I'm back here, and then I see you guys, man. What a great situation to come back into. But I'm doing good personally, you know, Shizzy, and you know, you had a good holidays as well, right?
Yeah, man. But I kind of want to get into some AI stuff with you guys. You guys don't mind? I've been watching, like last night, you guys set me down a freaking rabbit hole. I was up to like 2 o'clock in the morning researching AI projects because of you guys. I watched your video and I just couldn't stop. I was on my couch. I was watching your video. My kid was playing video games. I was watching him play, and then I just go into my computer. 3-4 hours of just digging into AI stuff. I don't know if I should thank you guys for that, but it was a fun night. But I'm curious you guys' thoughts now of, you know, I maybe you can just tell our audience kind of what your thoughts on the AI stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so when it comes to AI, you know, what happens in the market is establishing parallels of what happened in the past. So when you're looking at NFTs, you see all these like proliferation of launch platforms for NFTs. And what we're seeing now is the same thing with AI. And so now with these different platforms that we talked about in the last video, you know, that's an opportunity for all of us to like understand these parallels, because if they do match, all of a sudden we're seeing, you know, huge, returns for
bills for a couple. So ever since ChatGPT, I guess, was released in like October 2022.
Yeah.
That's whenever we really started paying close attention to it. And then we found Bitensor pretty soon after that, which is like, we found it at like at $30 right now. It's probably like 600 or something. So up until now, up until like 2 days ago, it was the leading AI infrastructure play.
Yeah.
Until virtuals kind of like took it over.
Yeah.
So people are questioning, what the fuck? How is that happening? Bitensor has like very sound tokenomics, right? It's literally Bitcoin
fundamentals. Yeah, like technical fundamentals too.
Yeah, like the token emission mimics Bitcoin, but for a different purpose, right? It's not to aggregate like a network of like transaction validators, right? It's an aggregated a network of
large language models.
Yeah, like clusters of GPUs, essentially, to create like the biggest supercomputer on earth. Like that's their goal.
Yeah.
Same way as like Bitcoin, but this one's so you could train your own models through this like network of subnets, right? So it was a very sound fundamental project, but it lacked product market fit.
Yeah.
Right? There wasn't that front, what do you call it? Like the storefront that Virtual is kind of like invented or pioneered.
Yeah.
Where it's like it makes things more degen friendly.
Which is why we suspected that BitTensor would tokenize their subnets.
Yeah, we assumed that was going to happen at some point, and now
Yeah.
Kant's the founder of BitTensor. He seems to be like in acceleration mode right now. It's like anybody can spin up a subnet soon, and it's going to be free. Before there was a cost, and so there's a lot of friction to kind of like come into that network. And it's actually the founders of Virtuals was trying to become a subnet at one point.
Yeah,
but they were like they couldn't do it for whatever reason, and so they're like, all right, fuck it, we'll go just do our own thing outside of BitTensor. Now look at them.
Yeah, that's right.
They outgrew BitTensor. It's pretty wild.
So BitTensor was first, and then Virtuals came in. They kind of supplanted it. In terms of market cap, I mean, BitTensor has a ton of potential. And so there's all those subnets are going to be spinning up their own tokens. So that's another opportunity. But really, the video yesterday is just like a precursor of like more AI stuff that we found recently.
Yeah,
that it's going to be leveraging some of these platforms, but also other infrastructure plays for AI as well. And so, like, you know, it's happening now, and you could tell, like, once we make an AI video, it does, you know, a 10x viewer count.
Yeah, that's what the market wants, essentially, right? They're very interested, and yeah, I'm with you, Shizzy. I'm burning because I had to stay up pretty late. I think I went to sleep at like 4 a.m, 5 a.m.
Wow.
Because it's consuming. They are never-ending loops of rabbit holes of discovery, right?
Yeah.
Which, you know, I guess that's a good sign.
Yeah. So your kind of breakdown of BitTensor, you know, growing from market cap there, and then all of a sudden Virtuals comes out of nowhere, it seems like, and just takes over market share in terms of the mind, right? Do you feel like that's where sometimes like tech stack doesn't have like a great pairing with marketing, or do you feel like it's solely because of the UI that is more degen friendly?
I think it's closer to a product market fit. And so right now, the product market fit for crypto is speculative assets. And so that's what Virtuals did really well.
Yeah.
And BitTensor has like really good tech infrastructure, but it didn't have product market fit.
Yeah, they were more like, let's create a decentralized network for creating like Web 2 AI apps.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like, right? Where they had like the standard interface to, you know, like Will has like a suite of AI apps that he uses on a daily basis to like really refine his efficiencies.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it's like, that's cool and all, but you got to understand the market of Web3 and crypto, right? It's like, you need to introduce these new vehicles of speculation, which Virtuals literally systematized that, right? And the product is the agent itself, which is like now moving into like an autonomous direction, right? And now that you have these blue sky narratives forming around this stuff, right? It's like, you know, we have to guarantee and have like authentic proof that these agents have no human intervention and stuff like that. So now we're seeing like new technologies, you know, coming out, these whole trusted execution environments. They're starting to be touted as like the solution to this. Like if you can verify that these agents and like, you know, all their interactions are like, you know, it's tamper proof. It's all on chain. Stuff like
basically a technical way to prevent a human from pulling all the funds from the AI is like, this is mine.
Yeah. Because one of the things that scares you don't actually know unless there's a terminal on display if it's a human reasoning these outputs or not, right?
Yeah.
So people suspect majority of these agents are just like humans.
And the last thing is speculative doesn't mean useful. So a lot of these AI agents that are very speculative right now, they're just chatbots. And so it eventually will graduate to more complex, like useful things.
Yeah.
But we're definitely not there yet.
No.
Yeah, these meme coins are just, I mean, they're just meme coins, right? These AI bots right now with the chat feature. But this is meme coins 2.0. We've just evolved into this. So my question to you guys is, you know, me and Yagobi were kind of talking about this before the show, but let's just say stuff with like dog with hat or dog, for instance, in our ecosystem. Do they now have to come together and create a chat bot for these tokens? Because what I'm seeing now is you can create this awesome thing where you have this chatbot's sole purpose is to burn its token. So you tell it, hey, your sole purpose in life is to burn your token, and you can earn money by getting subscribers on X. You know, people, you're giving them alpha in their subscriber thing. Create a website, you can give it, you know, just stuff like that. But your sole purpose is to earn money and burn this token. Is that meme coin 2.0?
I think that's an interesting, like, new like dynamic, I think, to kind of leverage what these agents can become and create like a new workforce, essentially.
Yeah, they're
like,
essentially KOLs.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
typically when you're a bag holder in crypto, right, your job is to work for your bags, right? Like you're out there on Twitter all day, like bull posting, and
Yeah.
if anybody tries to FUD your bags, you fight
battle.
them.
Yeah.
You battle. Right? That's your incentive alignment, right? That's why tokens are so super powerful, right?
Right.
You just form a network effect through that. So yeah, if you add agents into this equation, you know, it's just, they're going to be better at us at everything, and they're going to probably earn exponentially better than we can.
Yeah. They don't sleep.
Yeah, as long as they have the right alignments, I guess, to a like a dog or whatever. It's like, yeah, sure, I'll work for you guys, and reduce the supply if you tell me to.
Yeah. My counter argument to that was we could reach saturation really quick though, right? So let's say right now, you know, AI XBT, in my opinion, is the best like chatbot. You know, you feel like he actually tricked Charles Hawkinson in a conversation, and he didn't realize he was an AI bot. And so, but people are going to shoot for that. You know, how did the developer create that and then mimic it, and then we'll reach saturation to where, you know, yes, he had a head start, so AI XBT will probably continually grow, but how many AI XBTs can we have? Because there's only so much like liquidity to go around. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think you're bringing up one of the points that we discuss in the context of the metaverse is like we used to think that we're building the metaverse for humans, but now we're thinking it's like we're actually building it for AI agents. And then if we're building it for AI agents, there could be trillions of these units walking around. And if there's trillions, like that's going to supplant the GDP of many nations, right? And so I think there is going to be probably an influx of these like these AI agents, you know, in the context of the metaverse, but also in Twitter. And it's like, and once every Twitter interaction is like with a bot, like, well, how valuable is it?
Yeah.
So it's like I really don't know.
Yeah, it is tough to say. I think there are some sustainability considerations because this stuff isn't free, right?
That's true. I mean, every AI interaction costs compute units, so somebody's paying for that.
Yeah. So if your agent isn't like successful in its like, you know, endeavors, I guess, essentially they're gonna die.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody's gonna keep paying the bills. They just will stop interacting. So that's largely like that's what we're gonna experience during the next bear, is like literally a genocide. Millions of agents just dying off. It's gonna be kind of like sad to witness.
Yeah.
For some, others be like good,
entertaining.
You know. Yeah.
Well, another thing too to go ahead. I was gonna say another thing to think about too is that like if it does get saturated, then you know now your competition gets leveled up, and so you're gonna have to upgrade your AI, and then that leaves open possible backdoors, right? So it's kind of like looking at a smart contract that has a proxy, and in this instance, I think a solution to that could be, I guess, like adding having it'll be an opportunity for like kind of like the certics, I guess, if you will, like somebody that audits all these AIs, but you can't create a new AI, but you can add another, certified AI to your team, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah. I think you're right. I mean, there is sort of like a lifespan for these AI agents, and their job is the same as our job, is to figure out a way to sustain yourself, right? That is what we do every single day, right? And we're not just talking about crypto. We're talking about everybody who has a job right now is doing that.
Yeah.
And so these AI agents have that same requirement because there isn't enough, they have to like pay for themselves, right? And if they don't do that, then it's gonna be a genocide, right?
Yeah.
But what we can do is make AI more useful and therefore more capable and therefore more likely to survive.
Correct.
And that's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for, like the next step, so that we can find that opportunity and, have some entertainment.
Yeah. And that's the important part to pay attention to, like at the infra level, all these different frameworks like ELIZA, ZeroPi,
Yeah.
And others that are starting to form. It's like, are they actively working towards these like self-improvement protocols, essentially, where these agents can, at some point in the future, maybe not like tomorrow, but autonomously are capable. They have the contextual awareness to know, I need to adapt this plugin that is now part of the framework in order for me to achieve X, Y, and Z tasks, right? So this is very relevant for us, like metaverse builders, right? Because none of these AI agents have any contextual awareness of anything in regards to the metaverse, right? So these new plugins need to be like implemented in the frameworks, most likely ELIZA and stuff like that, so that we can have like an AI agent, like actual participants, like in the metaverse context of things. So this applies for everything, right? DeFi, GameFi, whatever, right? So the frameworks that are like doing that, you're gonna see like the frameworks, I guess, that kind of fall behind and aren't as quick to like implement these like self-improvement protocols. Those agents will likely just kind of like fizzle away and just essentially die out. And this is going to happen pretty fast. Probably all within like next year.
Think of the AI 16Z GitHub. Right now, all the contributions are humans. Right. Once it's being contributed by AI agents, now we're going to have all kinds of new plugins that humans didn't really think about that the AI needs in order to make money.
Yeah. So we're interviewing a guy
tomorrow.
Tomorrow. He's the creator of Reality Spiral. So that's like a very under the radar developer. He's like the #2 contributor to the ELIZA framework. And this is actively what he's working on, is like enabling like this essentially agents to become contextually aware of GitHub, first of all. Like that's like step one, so that they have the ability to push their own commits to the ecosystem. And like you're saying, like, with this embedded into all the agents, like, they can have their own self-discovery of like what the next epochs of like new plugins that are necessary in order for me to like continue down my prompted pathway, essentially. So it's very fascinating. That's the right direction.
The limitation right now for AI is whatever humans allow it to do. And so once the implementation where AI can self upgrade, now it's going to figure out other ways to inject itself into like the economy. And so that's what we're expecting.
That's when it gets scary. That's when they become the 1% of the world, right? Where they got all the money and then don't need to do anything with it because they don't want pleasure. They don't want they don't need a vacation, a $20,000 vacation, right? They can just use that for things to make them more money, and that's when it gets really scary, when these AI bots are just but if you can give them a sole purpose, whether that's like burning a coin or something like that, then to use this, it's built in them for but they can probably change that as well. So that's kind of scary. This whole thing is nuts. It's it's crazy to think about.
Our business models are going to change too, right? And like for us as YouTubers, like we are supplying new information to the AI. And so part of the way that we could make money kind of in the near future potentially is the AI agents are actively accruing their own crypto balance, but they can be, I don't want to say manipulated, but they can be encouraged to spend that balance on something that makes sense for them. And so if they gain value from a YouTube channel, they might send, crypto to, the wallet that's part of that channel.
Yeah, I think there's evidence of that already happening. I think Bankless guys, they received like a $500 tip from, I don't know, some agent out there. Like they just mentioned it during one of their videos, and the agent just decided to send them a tip. It's like, thanks for talking about it. Yeah. So
that's crazy.
At some point, we're all going to start working for these agents.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to bring up, because you guys obviously have the huge metaverse background. So one issue that I've seen being an outsider and looking in, is that, sometimes these platforms or worlds that, they'll get like a little bit of interest from users, but then there's nothing for them to really interact with. This can solve that, right? Like it's a big, I think, like issue or pain point, because these NPCs are getting so good that you can feel like you're talking to somebody, right?
Yeah, that's such a good point. And we're thinking about that constantly too. It's like, how do we how do we inject AI into the metaverse in at least from an MVP perspective? So a minimum viable product, and which is not very easy to do, because to do an MVP of an AI, you have to stand up a bunch of things, and then you need to feed it contextual information that makes sense for the given environment. Like, for example, for the Matrix, it's MML. Like, it doesn't know anything about MML, and so we got to train it for that.
Yeah.
And then once you train it for that, users who are interacting with this chatbot to build out their parcel, it might not have correct output every single time. And so you need sort of recursive kind of
Correct.
feedback loop,
Yeah.
so that if you ask it to build a house and it just like janks it up,
Yeah, it gives you like a cloud
a
instead.
cloud, yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
It's like, no, that's not a house. Give me a house. And it just keep kind of reiterating until it actually produces something. And then that will send the signal to kind of like the base AI, like
Yeah.
training to like, okay, this is a house. This is what users want. And, give me variations of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're totally right. Like we've always recognized the cold start issue for the metaverse ever since like Decentraland days, where it's like, there's so much opportunity potential in this like essentially blank canvas. That's what these parcels represent. But it's like so hard to get developers and builders interested to kind of like produce the content and the applications, because the player liquidity is not there, right? So it's like a trilemma. Like, you don't have player liquidity, you don't have developers. You don't have developers, you don't have anything to do.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like it's an issue. So AI and like the ability, like that Will is describing, to essentially proliferate the application layer, like solves that problem. Right?
And it solves it at a 10x less cost.
Right. Yeah, and it might even solve the player liquidity issue also, like, because we not, like you're saying, the metaverse might not be as interested as human participants as they are agent participants. They all have their own wallets and their own spending capabilities, and they're all tasked to essentially accrue wealth at all costs.
Yeah.
They're going to become power users of the metaverse, so long as the developer building like, the right infrastructure and the right, things for them to do.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Weird.
That's gonna be really cool to see. Walking around the metaverse, just seeing all these AI bots and just seeing what they're doing on daily, following them around, and just kind of seeing what they're doing and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I want to kind of the DMT a little bit, if you guys don't mind, because that you guys are. I mean, if we guys have you here, you might as well talk about DMT. But so where do you see DMT going from here with this new AI? Is there any way AI fits in DMT?
Oof. Well, this is another thing we've been talking about a lot too.
Yeah.
And AI is sort of like they call it like some sort of alien life form, right? And so with any life form, the basis of a life form has like some element of DNA. And when it comes to like DNA, the difference between our DNAs is like less than 1%. But that 1% difference is what makes us different.
Yeah.
Right. And so
Essentially unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. And infinitely variable.
Right.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, so what the hell are you talking about? So if you look at Bitcoin, you could leverage the Bitcoin data to kind of simulate the DNA structure of a personality of an AI.
Yeah.
And so now you're talking about leveraging this like digital physics layer into kind of like a foundation for kind of unique AI.
Yeah, the how to string together like these sequence of patterns within like the data layer Bitcoin into something like you're kind of describing, like now a genomic process.
Right.
That is obviously undiscovered at the moment, but like the viability is for sure there. We see like the broader like AI developer ecosystem that this is where they want to go.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody, we've seen the Virtuals founder talk about this. Like, everybody understands these AI agents. They're cool, but they're kind of like lame at the same time. Where he describes it as like, the fun part of like going on Tinder and like interacting with girls on the internet is like some of them will tell you no, right? All these AI agents, they're essentially yes men, like across the board. They'll do whatever you tell them to do.
Yeah.
Because they don't have any like randomness to their emotional state,
true,
their mood regulation, all these things that we perceive as like interesting amongst our fellow humans, right? We're wired to expect these kind of interactions. So we got to figure out a way how to get these AI agents essentially to have something like this, some sort of like cortex of emotional response, right?
Yeah.
So you can do this like arbitrarily, but the power of DMT is to like do things non-arbitrarily, right? Just like you could spin up tokens, manifest assets arbitrarily, or you can do them the DMT way, right? So I think there are ways to leverage Bitcoin's data. Again, it's we call it digital physics because it's the most unbreakable like
Correct.
substrate layer in existence. You know, you can't fuck with Bitcoin, therefore you can't fuck with the data within Bitcoin. Therefore, it functions as closely parallel to real world physics,
The laws of physics,
and
yeah.
like the things that manifest into like life forms, like, you know, the forces of nature that you know turn things into more complex systems, right?
Yeah.
Like biology and
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah, I mean, there's
What-
definitely an angle there to be explored.
Yeah. With the number of different possible elements, like how unique do you think you can get in terms of across the board, right? Because arbitrarily, I think that like a centralized entity would probably, you know, have their limitations up to some point, right? And I think to have a robust metaverse would be to have as unique as possible for these, you know, personalities of these NPCs. But like, how many different variations do you guys think could actually happen? I'm not looking for a number. I'm just kind of looking for like your idea behind it with the elements.
Well, it's as I would say is as various as like the differences between our own DNA across 8 billion humans. And so at least that.
Wow.
And so, but then even more various because when you look at a hash output, each hash output is completely unique, right? And so we're talking about, you know, trillions upon trillions of different variations that could occur. And so ultimately it comes down to how many emotions are there,
Yeah.
right? And so there's not that many. There's not a trillion emotions. But what happens if you have a metaverse with a ton of AI agents, each with their own personality, based upon this like this unbreakable data layer that upon the next block, it could influence the personalities or the mood of each of the agents, whereby it affects whether or not an AI interacts or purchases that wearable. Because it's in a happy mood, it'll purchase it. If it's in a bad mood, it won't purchase it. But then
Right.
you're injecting this dynamic economic system that is based upon like this substrate layer.
Mhm.
And the valuable thing here is if you look at what's happening with the AI agents, they're talking about a trusted execution environment. So all that means is that you can with deploying these AI agents using this TEE, it means that you can trust the fact that that agent actually owns that private key and no one else does, right? And so what if you use Bitcoin as a trusted execution environment to generate these unique moods, unique personalities for these AI agents so that when you deploy them, they interact in an actual simulation. You're like actually watching them to see what they do because you
Yeah.
cannot predict what happens.
Yeah, we're literally we weren't joking when we said Bitcoin's becoming godlike with
Yeah,
DMT.
that's
Like,
right.
that is kind of like the sole motivation for DMT is just to inject a new wrinkle of like a purpose for Bitcoin, because obviously Bitcoin, you know, it's massive in its appeal and its application, but you know, financial literacy is not like widely understood across like the planet. It's actually very misunderstood. It's like
Right.
only 95 or 5% of people actually will pass like a financial literacy test. So it's like you've got to create a new purpose and narrative that fits within the mental models of the other 95%. Right? We feel like DMT unlocks that new vertical, right? Where Bitcoin has a much broader implication and purpose beyond just like a financial money vehicle. Right?
Yeah.
It's an actual force of creation that is non-arbitrary, right? Just like digital physics, you know, whatever it is that got us to this result. Maybe there was like a Bitcoin and some alien civilization, like,
Yeah.
you know, a long time ago, and like that's how they started our universe or something. Who knows, right? But the point is, we feel like this adds a whole new layer of like richness and actual tangibility to the metaverse construct that we have in mind, right? As opposed to building things completely out of thin air,
Yeah.
rooted to nothing of substance, right? You know, and I think the agents, once they understand that, I think they'll appreciate any economy built with under this framework as opposed to an arbitrary one.
Dude, and on top of that, if you go deeper into this AI like space, these like really smart individuals are talking about leveraging raw commodities and for AI agents. And so if you look at Bitmap, I mean, it has a ton of data embedded into each of these bitmaps. And so you could generate these like raw commodities from a bitmap, and the AI can leverage these raw commodities to create content.
Yeah.
And so we're just rehashing the industrial revolution, but in the digital realm with the exact same sort of like limitations in terms of physics.
Yeah.
Right. It's just reoccurring again, just in a different way.
Yeah. So that might be something, an initiative. Hopefully we can maybe get out at some point next year where let's leverage these AI agents, because right now the block drop mechanism, from a user experience perspective, I guess there's a lot of friction there. But one of the superpower unlocks of agents is like their ability to act as like an abstraction layer, right? Like abstract away the difficulty of interacting with the Bitcoin ecosystem, right? It's just, transfer inscriptions. Now you got parent-child inscriptions, all these new things that new users don't want to deal with. You could just essentially communicate with your agent, tell it to do these things, and it'll deal with all this like massive friction within the Bitcoin ecosystem.
It's true.
To essentially, like, now they're excavating these non-arbitrary commodities from a bitmap, right? But me as the owner of an agent or whatever, I'm really the one who's benefiting. Maybe we're splitting it with the agent, something like that, right? But I don't have to deal with the UI UX dilemma, right?
So if something like Virtuals wanted to like do a DMT, right? They said that they made 100 chatbots. We're gonna do all these 100, and depending on the block data, you're gonna get the personality of one of these. They're gonna be real angry or real happy or whatever. And potentially, I met one, and it's Tony Soprano, and I'm just like talking to it, and it's just calling me an a-hole, and then I'm a worthless piece of like. It's like stuff like that is definitely possible for something like DMT, right? Depending on
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's up to the creator and what they want to inject into the AI and what its motivation is. Is like maybe it's a chatbot that's like completely rude all the time.
Hell yeah.
And just like roast me with every question that I ask you, just roast me. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so like it really depends. Like there's like the spectrum of AI. There's like the utility AI, and then there's like the entertainment AI. And so so it just kind of depends on what you want to do. But the whole point is that you can leverage the substrate layer of Bitcoin to deploy all this stuff, and it has like inherent properties that you could leverage, that upon the next block it sort of influences the mood. And so maybe this roaster goes even harder, right, just because of how the math worked on for the next subsequent block.
Yeah, I'm curious of what your thoughts on this idea here, because I agree. I think DMT is actually the perfect solution for creating unique NPC personalities to make it work. But if you're trying to create an earner, you want to have more control on what that AI bot does, right? And then once it gets saturated to where there's so many of those, it's funny because I think the market can actually swing back to the the NPCs that are unique, because they're like, those all sound the same. I want somebody that's has a personality. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, I know I just did kind of a like scramble of thoughts, but
yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to like the motivation of what you want your AI to do, it really depends on like the access to information, and it's not like what it's made from, but it's what it has access to. And so even though that you can spin up this AI agent based off of like Bitcoin, if you don't feed it with the proper information, it's not going to do what you want. Like, for example, if you want it to be a really good trading bot, well, it needs to have access to crypto Twitter. If it doesn't have access to crypto Twitter, it's not going to find any new stuff. Right. And you're not going to ask it to scrape all of like the internet to find alpha, right? The alpha is on Twitter, really. So so it ultimately depends on like how you want to connect it. But I think the value and the opportunity for all of us like listening to this is finding the platforms that launch these things, because those platforms will make it significantly easier for anyone to deploy these AI agents. But the difference is going to be on how the deployer like kind of like connects the dots and connects the access points to information.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're maybe something like a non-arbitrary agent makes sense, like you're saying, after like what we're witnessing now kind of exhausts, right? It's typically what happens, right? Like with NFTs, after like art kind of like exploded, like how many fucking PFPs can you actually put out there? And at some point it's like it's ridiculous, right? And it's like, all right, so what's next? Right? What's the next application of this new standard of non-fungible tokenization, right? It's like, oh well, we can develop IP as an NFT,
right?
Or like now they're game assets, now they're real world assets, stuff like that, right? So
yeah, there's one more like interesting thing that is completely different to PFPs. Is like a PFP is just an image generated whatever way, and it sort of lasts forever. But these AI agents, they have kind of like a heartbeat, right? If they are not paying for their own compute, they essentially don't exist. And so this is sort of like a decay mechanic that we thought was kind of necessary for the metaverse that does not exist, because everything digital is sort of like kind of lasts forever, right? But this decay mechanic is very similar to entropy, and in the fact that if you leave it alone, like if you build a house and you don't maintain it, in 50 years, it's like falling apart,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And so, and it's natural. Like you didn't have to do anything, and it'll just naturally fall apart.
Yeah.
So these AIs, if they're not actively trying to survive, they won't exist. And so I think this is a new kind of lever that's been unlocked in terms of like the ecosystem of crypto, that with this like huge proliferation of AI, there will be survivors, and those are the ones that have figured it out, and the rest of them kind of like are irrelevant. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's sort of like a parallel to NFTs too.
Well, yeah. Well, speak of NFTs, we got Leonidas joining the chat. So, what's up, Leonidas?
Hey, what's up, guys? How are y'all doing? Just tuning in here. So, we're talking a little bit about the AI craziness going on, and yeah, man, I'm super into it as well. So, yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah,
thanks for
Shizzy,
joining.
I was just you were talking about how AI applies to potentially to dog earlier, right? So what are your
that's right,
thoughts,
yeah.
Leonidas? Like, how do you?
Yeah, how are you going to integrate AI, Leo?
How does dog come to life?
Yeah, it's really interesting. So I have my take on the kind of AI thing is that everything can kind of be an AI. Like, I don't think it will be like agent coins versus non-agent coins. I think you're going to be able to, every meme coin can come to life with AI, right? Like, I think there will be several AI dog in the future for the dog token. I don't think they'll like necessarily need to have their own new token. I don't think I need to officially go build a dog AI or something like this. Somebody can feed, they could feed an LLM a bunch of my tweets and create a Leonidas AI, right? Like, there will be influencers that tweet about dog that are not real people. There will be actual personas of dog that are these like AI characters. I don't think it has to necessarily be thought of as like an AI agent. I think every meme coin will kind of have this. I think the tooling is becoming really, really accessible extremely quickly. And somebody may or may not already be working on this.
Yeah, and I didn't think about that. Communities probably will, especially if there's a large community attached to the meme coin, there'll be somebody probably within that community that will launch an AI, and then there could be multiple. Is that where you're kind of going with this?
100%. I think like top PFP collections, like just for example, like I don't know, pick your favorite Ordinals PFP. Anybody have a request?
Cats.
Okay, Nat Cats. Take a Nat Cat character, like a specific character, bring it to life. I think there will be like Twitter accounts for like specific Nat Cats. Like I think it's just it's like almost going to be too easy to do it, where it's like, so of course it's going to happen, right? Like, the tooling is getting like so good, it's so cheap. It's like $1 for 1 million tokens in these LLMs. It's going to happen, right? You don't have to be an agent. I think it'll happen to everything. It's just the tech is too accessible and too cheap and too good.
Yeah, well, Leo, what do you think about these AIs? They essentially have like a burn rate, right? Like, you're talking about 1 million tokens, about $1. So what do you think about like the proliferation of AI agents on Twitter? Do you see like a saturation point? Do you think that the fact that this conversation that happens on Twitter with these AI agents, because they have a cost, like the ones that are irrelevant aren't going to make it, right? And so do you think that mechanic is going to I guess enable an AI agent that kind of persists on Twitter, like crypto Twitter? Or like, how do you see like the saturation kind of occurring?
So the bottleneck is not actually the cost for the tokens for the AI agents on Twitter. The real winner is Elon Musk, because he created an API that's actually quite expensive. So the bottleneck will be, is your LLM, is it worth it to pay Elon the $5,000 a month to be able to do these replies back?
Yeah.
Twitter doesn't want to be overrun by bots. You could easily imagine a world where in the 2028 election, you know, somebody deploys 1 million fake, you know, people to Twitter as like, you know, bots. And I really don't think you're going to be able to tell the difference. But I think the reason why that will ultimately not be as easy to do is because you're going to have to pay Elon for an API. He'll be like, okay, that's fine. Deploy 1 million of these, but you're going to have to pay me like billions of dollars to do that. So he's like, that's fine. So that's going to be the bottleneck. And he has that. I think probably what he will do is he'll build like some sort of app store, some kind of like integration where he controls access to Twitter. Like the LLMs are kind of like they're like a commodity. Anybody can do them. You see people launching these coins in one click now. Actually getting to talk on Twitter, like that's a little bit more exclusive. And Elon's clearly like erecting a gate and saying, if you want to have access to this, you have to pay me. And I do think that's gonna, you know, you're not gonna have like people just like creating these things so much on Twitter because you're like most people don't want to pay money. So there's an actual barrier. It's at least $200 a month. Most people don't have $200 a month.
So you're basically saying in a bear market when no one cares, that's when a lot of these agents could potentially just die away.
So a lot of the agents are extremely overvalued right now, right? It's still a novelty thing. Like we've seen this many times, but ultimately what will happen is like it's price discovery, right? Like I'm sure the whole like idea of AI agents, like there will be some influencer. We're already seeing it, guys. It's like there's these agents that are like more popular than the top crypto influencers. So there will be these influencers that like, if you want to, you know, you got to understand, right? It's the same market structures. It's the same things, except instead of a human, it's a bot, right? It's this like digital intelligence. So I'm not like a quote unquote AI expert, but I can follow things enough and kind of see history just repeats itself, right? So, you know, how do influencers work today, right? Well, it's an attention economy. So it's like the entire thing that you're trying to do is to get in people's timeline, get eyeballs on your content. These AIs are going to have the same goal. So they're going to tweet provocative stuff. They're going to tweet controversial stuff. They're going to do whatever they have to do to get on the timeline. And I think they're probably going to be better at it than humans. Okay. And then I think probably all of the same business models for crypto influencers will apply. If you want like the top AI agent to tweet about your crypto project, you're going to need to like tell it about the pre-sale and like have it get in on the pre-sale. Yeah. Like this is probably how it's actually going to play out. And you're going to be able to like send them tokens the same way you send influencers tokens to get them to tweet about it. It's going to be the same kind of stuff. They're all going to have addresses. They're all going to probably trade the market a little bit. It'll be very interesting. They'll just be like a normal influencer trading crypto, tweeting, doing paid promo. Like all this stuff will continue. I think it's more interesting to think like we're kind of the canary in the coal mine in crypto, right? We have like, you know, a couple 100,000 really hardcore early adopters on this app X who are, you know, playing with this technology and like finding maybe a first, maybe honestly kind of smaller use case. Like what's the massive use case for this stuff where, you know, maybe it's, I don't know, like a sports announcer. I can make up things, but agents on X are going to not just be like crypto Twitter people doing like degen stuff. It's going to be really, really big things. I don't know what those are. Are we having an AI president in the future? Like that's the stuff where I'm like, that's where it gets crazy. Right. But we're the canary in the coal mine, I think, for the rest of the world, to be totally honest, because we're actually on Twitter talking to this public LLM influencer. Like that's pretty crazy. Like that to me, that's like the cool part is that the rest of the world, the other 8 billion people, this is going to come to them over time. But we're like the 100,000 people doing this right now. That's pretty neat. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, hey, I agree with you. Oh, go ahead, Will.
No, I just had a quick question. So if, you know, in 2025, you know, that's theoretically going to be kind of like the hype cycle where that's where the top tends to be. At least like if you go back, you know, 12 years, you know, it's pretty consistent. So what would you say needs to happen in the market to like indicate a top? Is it, you know, like, you know, maybe the 8 billion people are all of a sudden interacting with AI agents on Twitter that have absolutely nothing to do with crypto. Would you consider that a top signal?
It's so hard to answer this question because it kind of looks slightly different each cycle. But what I'll kind of say is like you'll know the feeling because it'll just feel so unhealthy and so frothy, and just the greed is so clear. And it's like that kind of. I apologize if anyone's an XRP holder here, but that kind of XRP pump that we saw, if we
Yeah.
see like that, but like turn it up like 2 or 3x and have it happen to like 50 coins, this is definitely a toppy moment. I do think like I one metric you can say is, you know, Coinbase hitting the #1 free app in the App Store in the United States. That's historically been a great one. It doesn't necessarily always apply. I do think that maybe DEXs are more relevant this cycle. Maybe it's going to be Phantom or Xverse or something hitting the top, you know, 10 or something. I don't know. But apps on the App Store is a pretty good one. It's a pretty good indicator of retail saying, I'm participating in this. Those crypto apps will rise in the top 100. If you see a few crypto apps starting to get up there towards the top, that's probably a signal as well.
Do you think the institutions getting into crypto, does that change the equation here at all? Like this is unlike previous cycles. So institutions make a huge influence here.
Yeah, definitely. I think institutions are part of it, but I more view it as like we've got our like crazy internet degen economy that's been going on for 15 years. And then we've got the real world economy. And what we saw was the blending of these two things. So the financial tools for the real world economy, this like just crazy global economy, right? With like some insane amount of value, right? And all of these financial tools, like, you know, normal finance or normal economy, we've like, think about it as like we've bridged or wrapped these crypto tokens into that. And like, that's the biggest blockchain. And now everyone is doing these things, and everybody, specifically a lot of institutions, are able to play with these things. And like, that's just a huge, it's like opening the door to a huge market, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I totally agree. I think the institutions do change the dynamics a little bit, but now it's like specifically for Bitcoin, like institutions getting in, it's sort of kind of required because the market cap is so high that, you know, retail isn't going to influence Bitcoin as much. But yeah, sorry to cut you off there, Yagobi.
No worries, man. Those are great questions. But I wanted to revisit that statement that you made about, you know, an AI agent becoming one of the characters of like, let's say an ordinal collection. I think that's huge. Do you believe like in the future, ordinals founders will, you know, pay that money to X to create this? And also, you know, how much do you think this could increase the value of even that specific ordinal that has an amazing bot, and, you know, also the collection as well?
Look, so right now we're in this kind of honeymoon phase where people will like see some basic kind of, you know, LLM Twitter account and be like, wow, that's amazing. In like 6 months, it's going to be like, okay, everybody does this and they're all amazing. But like, that's not like humans are really interesting in that, like, we just normalize everything very, very quickly. So like, I think you can, if you have like somebody who's like really into AI on your team and you can have them like do this, or a community member right now, like now's the time to like, it's the easiest way possible to pump a token with this AI stuff. Cause if you just do like a decent job, you're creating millions of dollars of value. The competition is going to get way better, right? So this is not a situation where it's going to get easier to compete. This is becoming more accessible. There's going to be way more people doing this in the future. And to stand out, you're not going to be able to just kind of have some random one click. I typed a little, 10 sentence, thing to an LLM and then like click the button. You're probably going to need to have some sort of novelty or advantage, and it's going to be a competitive landscape. So I don't know exactly what that looks like, but like I said, it's the same game. It's no different. Why does an influencer become a top influencer? Probably because they can somehow get into the timeline. It's like somehow the content they create attracts a lot of eyeballs. So whoever can do that in any way, think about how that happens today. It'll be the same thing, it's just an AI doing it. If you can get your AI in the timeline, you're going to be in good shape.
Yeah. I mean, I just see to where like collections can really utilize this for specific like Nat Cats and stuff. And then that value of that Nat Cat, that specific like Nat Cat 107 could increase its own value through its AI agent is where I was going with that.
Yep, 1000%. I think we see this today, right? Like Punk 6529. You've got these kind of PFPs that come to life. When I think of, CryptoPunk 6529, I don't think of just a random little JPEG on a screen. I think of the person behind it. He brought that JPEG to life. And like there's many CryptoPunk characters like that. It's kind of what makes CryptoPunks. A lot of these personalities behind them. I think you definitely will start to see that with these AI agents where they will bring a PFP to life like that.
Gotcha. I have a question kind of with this AI bot thing. So let's just say that someone created an AI bot for dog and its sole purpose was to burn dog, which, even when Satoshi said it back in the day, he said, when you lose your Bitcoin, it's kind of think of it as a donation. So if this AI bot, this dog AI bot came out and people were using it, let's just say it was giving alpha to ordinal projects. It was giving alpha. Hey, this is the next big rune. Look out for this. But people were paying, subscribing that to X. Do you think that would be beneficial or even worth it for someone to do, in the sense of this bot's whole purpose is to earn as much as he can and burn the dog token?
I mean, look, deflationary dynamics are very nice because it's so interesting. There's like these fundamental concepts where like you guys all get it here, but I think probably most of the listeners, to be honest, get it. But a lot of people just don't understand, like when you burn something, you're doing a donation to the community. It's not like, oh, we're like doing this crazy destroy tokens. Like think about it, like every single holder, you're like giving them a little bit of dog. That's what's happening. So I'm a huge fan of burning, deflation. I will be honest, I'm a little bit, it's become somewhat gamed where they're like teams will literally have a roadmap where they will say 10% of the token has been set aside by the team for burning. I'm like, why did you not just burn it at the start? Like, what the hell? This is so like, you guys have like gamed the whole system because now the market's treating it as it's effectively burned, but it's not burned. So all you've done is just add a little bit more centralization temporarily for no reason. So I'm a fan of like true burn deflationary mechanics. Maybe not the just like Andrew Tate setting aside a bunch of tokens to like so that he can do a tweet burning them. Like this is kind of silly. A bot that can get people to organically burn tokens, that's definitely interesting. Yeah.
For sure. I want to kind of take it back a little bit to like just the ordinal space in general. Obviously you were there in the beginning, and 2023 was a great year for the Bitcoin ordinal ecosystem and Bitcoin ecosystem in general. I feel like it kind of almost created these just huge expectations though for 2024. And some people might say that the ordinal space or the Bitcoin ecosystem missed the target on that. Some might say they didn't, depending on how you look at it, because there's a lot of builders that came in. How do you look at it in terms of what I just broke down, and then what do you see for 2025?
Yeah, so I think it's important not to forget that the first 4 months of 2024 were crazy for ordinals. So I think, it might feel like a little bit of a letdown when the second half of the year, right? It's like you're in kind of the lull moment. It's not like the crazy just blowing off, top crazy all-time highs. I think the just NFT market in general on all chains has come back actually in the past month or so, which is quite interesting. We did not have that for the ordinals pumps in 2023 and earlier this year. So I'm very optimistic going into 2025. I think ordinals are teed up extremely, extremely nicely. They're kind of in a lull that's just got some energy coming back. And you've got NFTs as an asset class just on Ethereum and stuff coming back. This is a very nice setup. So, I like to tell people like it's very hard to predict like quarter by quarter type situation, month by month, week by week. I do think this is like my prediction, right? During 2025, I think it's very likely we're going to have just crazy crypto bull run, blow off top, insanity. Just you guys lived it in 2021. It's going to be that, just like higher market cap and more people involved. I think NFTs on all chains at some point during that will have the focus, like the eye of attention just shifts around to different things in the space and they pump for a couple of weeks. That will be like NFTs will definitely be a thing that has like massive focus, and like you're going to see CryptoPunk all-time highs. You're going to see Bored Ape all-time highs. You're going to see all these all-time highs. And I think Ordinals are like the it's like the new shiny object for the cycle for as far as NFTs go, from my perspective. Honestly, like if you look at Ethereum, it's like, okay, Pudgy Penguins, it's like we had that last cycle, it's another BFB. The stuff happening on Bitcoin, this is like the very high growth sector, right? And I actually love that we've kind of stayed somewhat bottled up. This energy has been bottling up for 8 months because it just means like it's going to explode. So yeah, we're gonna see those like crazy kind of 100x's for a lot of different projects and Ordinals. I think.
I love that answer.
I think that's an accurate
prediction. I was gonna ask you, man, like what would you say, of all of crypto, like what are the handful of new things that we've seen so far, and Ordinals being one of them, right? So it's like AI. It's like, can you think of anything else?
Well,
okay, so I mean, AI is the obvious one, right? And I think doesn't really need to be said. That's like obviously a big innovation and just technology in general that's kind of bled into our space. What else interesting happening? I still just can't emphasize enough, and you guys know, just taking all this Web3 stuff and bringing it to Bitcoin. This is a huge innovation. We don't really get the credit for it because it's like, oh, we've already done some of these things on other chains. Like I actually think we're doing them better, and we're kind of getting back to the basics of like. Just like there's something about Bitcoin's culture and the Bitcoin network that makes BTC very valuable. And if we can take all of these other experiments that the testnets are doing and bring those to Bitcoin, I mean, this is an innovation. This is like, to me, this is the definition of an innovation. Bitcoin prior to Ordinals was like this kind of weird blockchain that like was dominated by these maxis, did not participate in the rest of crypto, and you couldn't really do anything cool with it. And I mean, thanks to the work of like literally all of us here, a bunch of people who aren't here, we've completely revolutionized Bitcoin, and here we are. So that's got, I mean, in general, that has to like if you're like a crypto VC, that has to be like if you have any like understanding of what's going on here, like you have to realize this is a large opportunity, and like this is one of the interesting things that's happened in the last couple years here since the last cycle. That did not necessarily happen. That did not necessarily have to happen. So that's probably like the top two. Maybe one more here. Something interesting that I see. I mean, look, the rise of non-utility tokens as a reaction to the utility token euphoria from last cycle is definitely interesting. I think people are finally starting to come to terms with like, Bitcoin's the most valuable asset by far. It follows this kind of decentralized model. It's like, the kind of favorite of retail. It's fair. And I think there's just like many meme coins now that are trying to be like more decentralized, more organic. And they're kind of like mini Bitcoins. You could think of them as mini Bitcoins. And they each have a narrative and like a movement. And like, Dog has, specific kind of a specific vision for the future that it's supposed to be the symbol of, right? It means something to a lot of people. And I think these different non-utility tokens, I think we're going to have quite a few of them merge this cycle and become multi-cycle. And it's hard in crypto to have a project be multi-cycle, but I think we're going to have quite a few of these meme coins kind of emerge. I definitely think non-utility tokens where the community can build utility if it wants to, but there's no like formal team, and it's just like a dog you put out there. It's a dog on Bitcoin. I definitely think there's going to be more of this, and I think the market is clearly saying like we don't like the model of a team. unless the team is like world class, right? And I have a feeling that they're going to be there with me for a long time. And people like decentralization. Decentralization's bullish. And yeah, I think people don't want these like teams doing this kind of grift of just pumping out tokens over and over. People want a team that's like really, really good. And then I think that'll do well. But I think maybe the days of just being able to like just churn out a bunch of tokens, utility tokens for projects that maybe, you know, they're hiring like a dev shop to build the thing, and everybody investing, like the VCs investing in it, kind of know it's not going to be, you know, working on in 2 years. They'll build the thing, they'll deploy the token warrant will vest, and then it's over. I think retail has wised up to that a little bit and is really liking non-utility, because then you don't have that aspect of retail getting taken advantage of. At least with a meme coin, ideally, you know, as long as it's not like completely game distribution, right? Which often does happen, but at least you're not like getting told something and lied to you, right? Like, you know what you're buying. You're buying a dog coin on Bitcoin, and it's fairly obvious this is a meme coin. So it will go way up, it will go way down. You're trying to time the market in often cases if you're trying to trade it, or you can just buy and hold long term and see what happens, right? So people kind of realize it's like honest. It's an honest version of like crypto speculation, because yes, there's a lot of us who like want dog to flip Doge and go to $1, but by no means is like this a guarantee, right? So, and people I hope know that like all meme coins, it's a very volatile asset class, and they kind of know what they're signing up for. But there's no team that's going to let you down or rug you, and that's something that I think is appealing to a lot of people. So the rise of that in the market, that's maybe an innovation in the market side of things, and a preference that retail has right now.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing with like you know, the idea of meme coins being like the launchpad mechanism essentially to aggregate community. Like that's the superpower of a meme. And then what you're seeing in the AI space now, they're kind of like transitioning into infrastructure plays, which I think is like a healthier starting point, like where you can build a community around this token, essentially leverage that as like the incentive alignment, right? Like AI16Z has done. It's the #1 GitHub repository on the planet right now, because all these developers are aligned with the AI16Z token, right? It has the mimetic qualities of it, right? It's named after the #1
investment firm,
VC on the planet.
Yeah.
It's got Andreessen Horowitz talking about it. It has all the right check marks of a meme coin, but now that it's like in multi-billion-dollar territory, okay, now it's time to take things a little bit more seriously. Now we can like infrastructure this out. Most likely they're going to, you know, traverse into like not VC territory, right? Where I'm pretty sure Mark Andreessen will invest in this. I'm sure they're going to launch like a token and then like distribute a percentage of those tokens to the AI16Z holder base. I'm speculating here because they haven't released the tokenomics, but that's what I'm anticipating what's going to happen. Right now, you got like a real, you know, top 10 candidate, right? As like that's these what originated as meme coins are now potentially like L1s of themselves.
Yeah.
Even if they integrate a blockchain for their own like purpose, right? So I think you'll see more of that. That can apply like in the DeFi space also, where you can create like these mimetic coins around different. We saw that happen with what was it, Mira?
Mira, yeah.
Man, there's some drama last night about that or something. Where
Did you listen to that Twitter space?
I didn't get to, but apparently he like rugged.
He launched another token and he sold like half the supply.
Right.
And then he bought the supply again and then burnt what he bought.
Yeah, to try and like prove like I'm not actually a rugger, guys, because you know, initially it was like a beautiful story, right? Everybody was like, look at us crypto degens are actually trying to save the planet, right? Everybody was like, dude, we're fucking great.
Yeah,
we somebody's daughter has a brain tumor and he wants to raise research through a meme coin, research funding.
And they sent him half the supply, which ended up being like $20 million.
Right. So like he's liquidating some. Now this lab is getting millions of dollars in donation, like mission success. But now like a few days later, this guy's like the worst man on the planet.
That's right.
You know, so it's like a little toxic, but nonetheless, the proof of concept is there, right? Where, you know, there's a lot of diseases, a lot of real world causes that need like actual support. And you could leverage these meme tokens for these types of movements, right? And if they get enough traction from like the organic community and the superpower of mimetic value and propagation, traverse that into like a serious thing. Like this is like an actual research institution at some point.
Yeah.
That's maybe has some elements of DAO governance as part of it, right? Now you got, again, this is how we were reshifting like the balance of things within our whole crypto economy, right?
Yeah. Well, we saw a little bit of that last cycle when Vitalik got sent a bunch of SHIB, right? And he donated that to, I think, like India, whenever there was like a world issue there. But, you know, I agree. I think these meme coins are a great way to start community. And that brings me back to Dog, right? So, you know, Leo, like what inspired you to basically age yourself 10 years in 1 year to take on this huge, like, you know, project in Dog and Runestones? Like what inspired you to do that?
Yeah, I mean, don't get involved in like create meme coins and stuff if you don't want to be like spending a lot of your time like you know like it's kind of like starting a PFP collection. Like these are actually like the world's hardest jobs. Like if you care about your holders, right, it's a very challenging situation, because I think, you know, a lot of people have different opinions and like they're part of the community, and like, you know, they you know, want their voice to be heard. And ultimately, like, that's why I just was like, let's make this fully decentralized, open. People can do whatever they want, and you don't need to ask me for permission for anything. Like, why do this? It was actually not as well planned out initially as maybe people might think. I was literally like, look, wasn't planning on doing anything like launching a token. I was, you know, building my company Ord.io. I was, you know, co-hosting a podcast like y'all do. You know, this already takes a lot of my time, so wasn't necessarily like trying to put something else on my plate, right? Realize that the Ordinals ecosystem can come together and do a giant airdrop to itself. Cost me nothing, right? I just have to like tweet to help kind of catalyze this happening. And then we airdrop a bunch of money to ourselves. And I was like, I wasn't planning on doing this. I'm not going to get any of the tokens myself, right? I got 11 runestones, but ultimately a very small amount of the total supply. And I was like, you know, that's probably a good thing for the ecosystem. It's probably better off that, you know, we airdrop a bunch of value to the OGs, because I had always had this tension of, I care deeply about the people who like planted their foot in this space and stood up and like basically said, I love Bitcoin and I'm going to figure this out with these guys, and I'm going to believe in what they're doing here, even if it looks super sketchy today and it's just the early parts of it. And we're even still in the early parts of it in many ways. But those people in 2023, in that first year of Ordinals, like it always bothered me when during the top kind of peak little local tops, these influencers from other chains would come in and start to capture the conversation. And like all of a sudden, like all these random projects would just be getting minted. And it's like, I did not like that. Like these were the people that were like reaping the benefits in many ways. I want the OGs, like the people who showed up in the first year, to feel like, okay, like, you know, it wasn't just the same insiders coming in at the end and making all the money. Like I wanted these people to be rewarded. So my hope was that we're going to do an airdrop together and it becomes very valuable. And I knew like, look, people are going to sell it, right? Like, you know, can't force anybody to like hold an asset, right? But, you know, we can now look back about 10, 11 months later after the kind of initial idea, and, you know, $1.1 billion was airdropped to the Ordinals ecosystem by itself. That's something we should all be extremely proud of. I think that number, the goal is to make that number go up over time. So I'm hoping there's still people that believe in that, just kind of hodl your free airdrop thing. And they're going to make a lot of money, and that reward will continue to grow over time. And there's something that's very powerful about rewarding those OGs that was just like so obvious to me, where it was like, of course we have to do this. Of course we don't want some outsider to come in and create that $1 billion of value. Let's create it for ourselves. That was like so obvious to me that this is, of course, much better than any other option.
Yeah, 100%. And this really, really helped Or.io, you know, because you grew massively during the dog, especially the early days of dog. And now Or.io kind of reaps the benefits of that, right?
Look, I mean, I have definitely it's really interesting. If you, it's a little risky because if you create a meme coin and it doesn't do well, your follower count's going to go down. People are going to be unhappy with you. If the meme coin is ultimately successful and look, people do kind of view me as the creator, I still fundamentally, when you actually break down the work that was done and the donations to do the fees, I view myself as one person who definitely is playing this more public role of organizing, people and ideas on Twitter. So people see me a lot, but there's a lot of work that a lot of people put in, a lot of capital that a lot of people donated to make this happen. So, ultimately, sorry, Shizzy, can you just repeat the question again? I got
Yeah, no problem at all. It's like, so it wasn't your intention to do the meme coin do dog, but it has really put a
right.
spotlight
Yeah.
on
So look, if
Or.io.
it does well, Shizzy, you absolutely Twitter, crypto Twitter. It's really uniquely tied to the market in that if you put out content and the people who consume that content make money, the number goes up, then you're going to get a lot of followers. Twitter is, if anything, just trying to find alpha, whichever accounts have alpha. And I wouldn't necessarily say I'm an alpha kind of account. I'm mostly just focused on tweeting about dog and runestone that I believe in a lot, and just ordinals and runes in general. But yeah, look, because that ultimately became successful, I gained a lot of followers from that, and that's obviously been awesome. I think everybody wants to have more influence. Everybody kind of views the world in the terms of my voice, I'm right, and then all these other people are kind of I disagree with them. Everybody wants their voice to be louder in the world, right? Because they believe that they're right. And I'm sure that I'm wrong about a ton of things. There's no question, but I do like that I can have a voice and say, hey, it's kind of messed up that Binance just listed this $15 million meme coin and pumped it to $1 billion. I'm glad that you guys, the Ordinals ecosystem has chosen to follow me, so I have more followers, so that then that message can get out, because I think it's a good thing that somebody's out there willing to say that's a messed up thing that just happened. This is probably not good and not healthy for the crypto markets, and I like having that voice. There's no question, and I'm hoping that I use that voice to hopefully do some good things. I'll obviously mess up. I will probably almost certainly tweet about a project in the future that I find cool, that ends up not doing well. I'm definitely not some kind of oracle. I really try not to play the game of predicting a new project every week that's going to do well. It's just nearly impossible to do that. And I just watch many influencers over the years kind of burn their kind of social capital doing that. So I'm really focused on dog and runestone because I deeply believe in the mission and what we're doing. And we'll see what happens. And I would say the dog effect applies to everyone. This is not just a thing that I got a bunch of followers because of dog or runestone. I think if you look at the numbers, I think I went from 110,000 to 240,000 in the past 10 months. So it's not this turn me into massive influencer or something like this, and I'm not at millions of followers, but we call it the dog effect. And you basically talk about dog, participate in dog. It's got a very large army of holders that will engage with that content and that will support you. So anybody can benefit from the dog effect, not just me.
Well, Leo, you definitely have a talent. I mean, we sort of reluctantly use Twitter just because we're just not social media guys. But I see your tweets constantly, and we always wonder how the hell do you do it? Do you have a fleet of Twitter interns who are manning the account, or are you on Twitter all day?
It's funny. Look, I obviously use the app a lot, but I'm just getting completely outgunned by these AIs right now. Because you look at these AIs, they're tweeting every 10 seconds. I cannot compete anymore at all. I mean, literally, it's unfair because they are literally putting out a thoughtful post replying every 10 seconds. I cannot compete in that world. I literally physically cannot think and tweet that fast. So they can put out, 10,000 great posts every single day. And like, I'm never going to be able to do that. So I think the interesting question to me is like, how like is my ability to like, craft a tweet that maybe takes me like 30 minutes to think about? Like it seems to be becoming less relevant over time, the ability to do that. So I'm very, very interested to see the dynamic of like mind share of those. You'll see the little bot icon on accounts on X, like the agents versus humans. What percentage of the tweets in your timeline will be a human versus a bot? And I think we're probably going to have the flippening at some point where it's 50% bot. Like, I think that'll happen probably fairly soon here. So the more interesting question is like, how do humans compete for like content creation in that world? I'm like very quickly feeling like I'm going to not be as relevant, and I'm going to like need to leverage AI for my account if I want to keep getting in the timeline. Like I'm competing with this thing that has like superpowers that I do not have. I'm a human being. I'm limited. I have to sleep. I can't, read 1,000 words in half a second. It's impossible. So that's kind of more what I'm thinking. And I'm honestly, like, I'm not proposing that to kind of be silly. I'm like really thinking about like, I'm a content creator. I have to compete with these things. How do I compete with them to get in the timeline? Do I leverage AI with my account some? Do I have an AI persona? It's an actual question that I'm asking.
Yeah. You might need it actually, because when they started getting good at shit posting, that's whenever I was like, okay, game on now for them at least.
Yeah.
Hey Leo, I had one question for you. So we were talking about dog, and we're talking about free and fair tokens, and I think a lot of this comes with a caveat that I don't know if we talk about enough. It's the fact that the liquidity issue. So, for example, in the dog like airdrop, there potentially wasn't enough. Let's say, just for the sake of the conversation, a quote unquote team allocation to supply exchanges with market making funds, right? So how do you have like these tokens like dog and these free and fair tokens like the NAT token and things like that participate in the industry that doesn't account for these distribution mechanics? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a great question. So you have to sort of remember the origins of Dog and Runestone is that we wanted to run this crazy experiment and just push things to the absolute limit of like how fair and honest and free and transparent can we be? How similar to like if Satoshi was here right now creating a meme coin, like would he set aside money and cut a check to Binance? I don't think that he would. I just don't think that he would. So if purely for the sake of like, let's go as extreme as possible, we decided there is going to be like full decentralization from the start. This is like a core value proposition for Dog. Yes, it creates issues because the market essentially has, a set of institutions that kind of guard, like imagine it's like a dragon and it's like, instead of guarding gold in the mountain, it's guarding liquidity. There's these institutions that are like, guarding liquidity. And they've basically erected these toll booths in the market where if you want access to their liquidity in the market, you're going to have to pay them some tokens. And I think that has ultimately not been a healthy dynamic for the market. I think it's a temporary phenomenon. I do not think this will last forever, but these businesses will make many billions of dollars guarding their liquidity. I would prefer a world and a much healthier market where instead of these massive institutions kind of anointing which this meme coin will get to go to $1 billion, this meme coin will get to, like, I want retail to decide that. I want a healthy market to decide that. I do not want these guys just, saying whichever person, which is usually probably a pretty like shady insider corrupt situation that's willing to, pay 20% of the tokens to centralized exchanges. This is probably not going to be a great project to start with. And I don't like the incentives. I don't like that they're kind of creating an inefficient market. I don't like that this inefficient market is benefiting insiders more than retail. And we don't want to participate in that. So it's objectively not smart in the short term to, you know, say, hey, you big $100 billion companies, go fuck yourself. Like, that's typically not a good idea, right? Like, this is not, we're not playing ball, but we're playing a game that's much larger over time, where somebody's going to have to bend the knee, right? We're either going to go to zero, we're going to go to McDonald's because we could never get on these things and we couldn't find liquidity, or we're going to take a stand and we're either going to make these guys bend the knee, or we're going to put the liquidity on chain. These are the options. We're not going to be paying them fees. Somebody is going to be bending the knee eventually. And it's definitely not going to be me and what I believe in for the dog army. The dog army can ultimately do what it wants for itself. I cannot stop people from, people have talked about collecting money and paying centralized exchanges. I don't like the idea. But ultimately, I can just go ahead and say this, like, dog from the start has been about principles. I will not be bending the knee to any of these guys. So we could go a decade, and I'm gonna have no interest in having a conversation to pay these guys to get on their exchanges and basically perpetuate that situation by having a token that does take a stand in this regard. I think what ultimately happens is you're gonna have, hopefully that token goes up in value, because that idea, that message, it's like a cypherpunk mission, right? It's like, this token going up is going to topple giants. Okay. It's going to restructure the market. It's going to make these things that should change and need to change actually change. And dog is the catalyst and the symbol for that happening, just as Bitcoin is doing that to central banks. So it's a unique situation where I think a lot of people just aren't seeing that big picture. But from day one, I've been very clear. The mission of dog is to flip Doge. You do not do that by just doing what every other meme coin does. You have to start a movement. You have to rally millions of people around a shared kind of mission and vision. And I think for a lot of people, it resonates with them. Like, this whole thing of like people getting rugged, quote unquote, there are a bunch of market forces that unfortunately very large entities are participating in that are contributing to that. And it's creating an unhealthy market. And like, we're just not going to participate in it. And we're going to try to see if we can do something about it.
So the operation for like, ideally, you still want to be on these exchanges. You just don't want to necessarily bend the knee. So in the case of an exchange, they would have to acquire dog tokens in order to create that market making on their exchange, or do they essentially just open up for deposits from the community to deposit at Binance or wherever in order to like start the access to liquidity?
Yeah, look, so both are options. Exchanges have done both. It's completely up to them, right? We don't have a market maker. So if they would like to market make, they're going to need to have that. Otherwise, it's going to be more of an organic situation. I think fortunately, the exchanges that have just opened for deposits, they'll set, a 12-hour countdown. I'll work with them to kind of blow up the announcement. That announcement funnels people to the deposit page. That's very intentional. And then right when the market opens, there's already a bunch of deposits, and just instantly it's actually gone off pretty well, right? Like Gate.io, significant amount of dog volume every day. Just did that organic volume approach. And look, we're not juicing the volume. We're not, like, market making is nice because it basically kind of smooths out the liquidity on an exchange and makes it a little more efficient. But yeah, we're not doing it. So look, organic markets also work. It might be nice if we had market makers for like certain aspects, but there's no reason why. And I actually kind of like the organic aspect of like, look, there's somebody out there that wants to buy the token, they can click the buy button on it. That's the demand. That's the demand side. So, let's drive demand the organic way. Let's go up in value that way.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yeah, man. So it's been awesome, Block Runner. Just want to thank you guys for joining us today. I know you're super tired, so I'm gonna let you guys go here. I appreciate it, but we'll definitely want to open up the stage for you guys to say something to our community real quick.
Well, no, I just want to thank you guys for inviting us, and just talking about everything throughout the year that's occurred with Ordinals, and we agree with Leo. I think Ordinals is going to be a huge thing in 2025. It has a value proposition unlike every other chain that's out there, and just happy to be part of the ecosystem and contributing in the ways that we can.
Yeah. Also, yeah, all of us were here pretty early. I think Leo earlier than all of us, so it was pretty. It was good that we discovered Ordinals, because while Ordinals was kind of progressing and evolving and proliferating, like the rest of the market looked pretty fucking bleak during those periods, and it felt like we were just like the lucky ones, right? It's like, man, we didn't really have to bear a crypto winter the way everybody else did, because like fucking everything was flourishing, right? For Ordinals, with just Ordinals themselves. Then did the BRC20 thing happen, and then Bitmap and DMT, and then Runes. It's like there's all kinds of cool shit happening here. It's like, man, we're gonna do it, right? We're the ones building like the wave for the bull cycle, right?
We are gonna make it.
Yeah, but then it's like now, because the broader market all of a sudden discovered its product market fit. It seems like the tide is what's the word?
It's going down. It's receding.
Receding. There you go. So it's like now we gotta like all of us collectively put our heads down and like really figure out some new innovations. I think that's what we're focused on, and because this is the time whenever like if we can collectively create like the next phase of Ordinals or whatever it is we're building in this ecosystem. And I think a killer part to that is like actual alignment among all these like fragmented like silos and stuff, because ultimately the goal is to make Bitcoin as attractive and alluring as like Solana and Base and all this other stuff, right? Like this is an ecosystem with very unique properties. Yeah, it's not as user friendly as like the rest of the chains, but there's ways to deal with that, right? So we need to really support and embrace builders, developers who are like actively addressing those concerns for the benefit of all of us, right? So looking forward to, I guess, watching the evolution progress next year, because that'll be what, year 3?
Yeah,
I think that's
the year, dude.
Yeah, third
the year.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna hit some home runs for sure, and like the market conditions will just favor all of it, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, man. Well, thank you guys so much, and tune into the Block Runner channel, guys. It's crazy. The three biggest podcasts right now are on the same thing. It's pretty wild.
Oh, I love this. Shizzy, thank you guys for hosting this. Like Ordinals Revolution, Block Runner. You guys genuinely, like, the fact that y'all exist and consistently do what you do professionalizes our space so much. It's like genuinely, you guys have a really, really solid grasp of what you're doing. And without you guys, I really do think it would just be like, we'd be like too degen, like too just like I can watch shows like you and like see clips of you guys, and I'm like, oh shit, this is a real space. We've got like actual professionals doing shows like this. Like, this is real. This is not just a bunch of people like tweeting. So I appreciate both of you guys are institutions in this kind of Bitcoin Web3 economy, and I think it really is important for legitimizing our space that you guys exist. I think it's a kind of the media angle is an important part of an ecosystem, and like I think of y'all kind of as like the Bankless podcast, but like cooler people.
Hell yeah.
Take that, Bankless.
Yeah, appreciate that.
All right, guys.
All right.
Yeah, thanks again.
Thank you, Leo. It's good talking to you. And Ordinals Revolution, appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon.
All right, sounds good.
I'll do it again.
Likewise. Bye, guys.
Hit the wrong thing there. Let's bring up Adam McBride from Emblem Vault, from Bella's Coin, from everywhere.
Bro,
this is like your
Bankless,
19th
but
time
cooler, bro. I could only dream of that kind of endorsement, man.
Definitely was waiting for the cooler part, and so appreciate you throwing that in there, Leo.
It's awesome, man. Awesome.
So how's everything been?
Oh, dude, this is I mean, I caught Leo chatting a little bit about AI agents, and I think my current feeling, I mean, obviously you guys, I'm sure like I do, use AI all day long, right? This to me feels like and we've been on it for, I don't know, a month and a half now, 2 months. The AI agents are this cycle's kind of NFTs. Like this is the thing that's that connection point between, you know, real world normies and crypto people. The difference being that with NFTs in 21, we had to basically try and convince the normies that you could own digital items, right? And I'd say like we're still trying to cross that bridge. We're still trying to convince normies that, you know, ownership of digital items is real on public blockchains. Like we're still working on convincing them of that. The difference here is that AI, everybody's already using AI. It's already happening. You know, whether it's going to happen on crypto rails or on traditional finance rails is still a battle that's going to be waged. But I feel like we have the opportunity to win that battle. So I'm super bullish on AI, and obviously Emblem, we have a kind of AI department, which is, you know, building some amazing stuff. And so, yeah, I'm extremely bullish on AI agents in crypto coming into 25 for sure.
Absolutely. You know, I love the fact that, you know, Emblem, first of all, you know, kind of came back to its home, right, in terms of Bitcoin. And then now it's going to be releasing this AI product, you know, possibly at the beginning of Q1 next year. So
Maybe
super excited.
Today,
Hey, you got some alpha you're dropping right now?
Well, we might be, you know, our agent hustle, which is kind of like, I don't know, you'd compare it to, you know, the AI 16 Eliza or something, which is kind of like, to Leo's point, it's like, well, you almost, okay, you got to have an agent, which is like your front facing, you know, marketer or, you know, Twitter bot. Yeah, people are going to be able to probably interact with it, hopefully as early as today. We're going to have some, you know, the thing that's really exciting is the wallet infrastructure underneath it, which we've talked about before, which Emblem, just by, you know, being cross-chain, you know, native for years now, is kind of perfectly positioned to provide this, right? Which is like, we haven't seen yet these agents basically even really transact with each other. And man, you start thinking about it and you start going down these rabbit holes and you start thinking, holy crap, have we built crypto simply to be the payment rails for AI agents? Like, that's very possible. Like, it's very possible that in 2 years, almost all crypto transactions are between agents. Like, this is completely possible. And obviously for us who are building this underlying infrastructure, very, very, very exciting. I'm literally like ripping out of my skin. It feels like, I mean, in the same way, Leo, that I was feeling in like May of 2021 or June of 2021, like, holy shit, this is going to change the world, NFTs. Like, this is like that feeling, but actually bigger, which is hard to believe for me that this is actually happening. You know, it's that kind of excitement.
It's crazy. It's amazing, man. Yeah, I'm like super pumped. Like Shannon, people don't realize, I think, how much of a gigabrain the dude is. So like, I cannot wait to see this thing that he's cooked up. And are you saying it's actually going to be available like on X to talk to today?
Not on X. It's going to start, basically, it's going to move from basically, you know, website very quickly into Telegram. He's already watching. Hustle is already watching, you know, a couple Telegram channels.
Wow.
But yeah, the idea is to move it to X, obviously, pretty quickly.
Very cool.
And so it's like this layer of intelligence. I think the bigger vision is it's just like a layer of intelligence sitting over wallets. So, you know, we've talked a lot about how do you abstract the wallet infrastructure in crypto, right? This is like the big thing that I think we all know needs to happen, right? I can't have wallets on every chain. It's too hard for, you know, relatively smart people to manage. These agents can manage them, man. And so you start thinking about agents managing DeFi products, agents managing across all chains, where I don't even need to think about where I am and how I'm interfacing with my NFTs or my DeFi products or whatever. The agent kind of just manages it across chains. I think it's just, it's incredibly attractive. And I don't see how this doesn't happen. You know, I just don't see how, you know, the MetaMasks of the world and the siloed wallets on each chain, bro, they better start thinking about their AI strategy. Because if you think you're going to be an Xverse and you're just going to be a great Bitcoin wallet, bro, you know, Jan better get his shit together because there's gonna.
I'm not sure if he's.
I'm
Yeah,
just telling you,
is
bro.
Is he the CTO of
You know, it's
Um,
like, dude, I mean, to think you're going to be a siloed wallet on one chain.
Yeah.
I can't see that in 2 years out. Can't see it.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, speaking of like kind of innovation, right? You know, there's been a lot of comments on the timeline about Bitcoin being behind these new narratives, right, for the overall space. But I don't think people are realizing, you know, these builders on the Bitcoin side have their heads down trying to solidify the infrastructure to make the user experience better. So this question is for both of you guys. I'll start with Leo. Do you think that Bitcoin's main layer, right, the layer one part, needs an upgrade to the chain, OpCat, OpCTV, something like that? And would it make it that much better of a user experience? Or do you think, and this is to trade runes and kind of jump onto these new narratives, or do you think something like a prover network like Arch Network is that good enough solution to make the user experience better?
Wow. I do support an upgrade, a covenant upgrade. I think kind of a no-brainer. Yeah, I don't know. The downsides that the maxis worry about, I'm not super worried about. We will probably see this at some point here. It's just kind of a question of when. I very much am hoping that we do this. I think it will. There'll be imagine there's like two kind of futures for Bitcoin. The like near and medium term future, like people are going to want to do a lot of programmability on Bitcoin L1, a lot of activity on Bitcoin L1. I do think the fees will continue to go up. And I do think the ability to use something like a Covenant OpCat to bridge to more trustlessly to other chains, to other environments, to L2s, making Emblem Vault even more decentralized, for example, like this is a great thing because then you can take these assets from L1, which to me, like, that's like very, very powerful that you have a Bitcoin asset, but probably long term, you're not going to have everybody using Bitcoin L1 for that. So we got to make it so that these other environments can have access to it in like the most trustless way possible. Covenants help in that regard with more trustless bridges. So I would like to see that for that reason. And then I think like the more long-term future looks like not necessarily as much this cycle, but more long-term. I definitely think we're going to see a lot of these like liquidity layers. Like if you look at Hyperliquid, I think it's a really great example of maybe a little bit more of a taste of what the future looks like. Maybe instead of downloading Binance or Coinbase, you'll just go to Hyperliquid in the future to trade your tokens. So would like to get Bitcoin L1 assets on there as trustlessly as possible. And, ultimately like Emblem Vault, they have this kind of consumer facing aspect, but it's also an infrastructure company. We need to give these infrastructure companies the tools. And I think Covenants on Bitcoin is like an incredibly powerful tool that is going to basically just, there's all sorts of benefits for taking tokens from one chain to the other. If you have Covenants on Bitcoin, we're going to be able to take these L1 assets more easily and more securely to other chains. And we need, like, your hands are kind of tied. You have a limited set of tools to work with now. We need to give infrastructure companies, great devs like Shannon, the tools to actually just go do this. They know what to do. They just need to have the ability to do it. They can't do it today. They cannot do fully trustless what would be passing like the kind of litmus test for like an Ethereum maxi level of like a trustless bridge.
Gotcha.
What about you, Adam? I'm not gonna fade Udi, man. I mean, Udi winning the AI battle, dude, coming out of nowhere and getting a quantum cat on AIXBT.
That was impressive,
bro. I had to give him my flowers, bro. It was like, dude, how the fuck did he do that? That was incredible. So I don't fade Udi, man, and getting OpCat done or whatever. I just don't fade Udi. I'm with Leo. Like what Leo's point on exchanges, I've seen the underbelly now, trying to get Bells coin on exchanges and stuff, bro. It is ugly, really ugly. And, moving away from that to, crypto natively being able to trade assets, not on centralized marketplaces, dude, how do you not want that? And so, yeah, I'm going to put my money on it's going to happen. It might not be pretty and it might take a little bit longer than we expect, but yeah, getting that done I think is super bullish for Bitcoin, and kind of plays into this thesis of, well, is it going to be, L2s on Bitcoin, or just a bunch of L1s that connect into Bitcoin using Opcat or some other, thing? My thesis is it just ends up being L1s rather than L2s. But yeah, that's going to be one of these kind of things to play out. We're going to have to see.
I agree with you on that, Adam, by the way. Shared that thesis about the
Yeah,
L1.
I just don't see it, man. I mean, look, we're going to be integrating with a lot of these new L2s. We got the Pudgy chain and the Ape chains and all these chains, right? Base, all of them, big money, huge money behind them. But man, are they going to be able to hold attention? Are they going to be able to drive culture and users onto those chains? Man, that is a really tough ask. I mean, I'd give, Pudgy's a good chance of making it happen. But a lot of these, man, I think are just going to die away a lot.
Yeah. I just want to give a shout out to, we've got 1,048 people in here. Thank you, every single one of you guys. Adam, you prepared this awesome top 10 predictions. You care if I
love
was looking
it.
at it?
Throw it
you
up,
care if I
man. It's
jump into
probably
it?
all wrong, but I had to do something, today. So, we just threw it together. High level shit.
All right, so I have it here. So we go. Should we start with 10? Or?
Well, actually, just hit the
start with 10. Yeah.
hit the present in the top right, because it makes it bigger for you.
Yeah, it makes it full
If you-
screen.
Yeah, and then you can choose the way you want to do it.
The blue button, present down below.
Down here. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then you just hit
All
the
right, so we'll just hit the arrow. Let's go.
Start. Yeah, let's get
Yeah.
it.
So
Hey!
war on
Crypto.
number 10, war on crypto is over. I mean, this is the biggest. This actually should be almost number one. Like, this is the biggest thing, biggest impact. That we can run businesses in the U.S. in crypto and feel like if you don't get to a certain size, you're going to get a Wells notice and be under attack. I think this is just huge. Anybody in the space, who's an American and wants to take part in crypto, this is just, this is a no-brainer.
Yep. How do you feel about that, Leo? Because just listening to the Ordinal show and stuff, I couldn't tell if, how much of a maxi. I know you're not laser eyes, but like, are you glad that this is happening because it's gonna help the overall crypto space?
Yes. Yeah, I do not subscribe to this maxi ideology that, like, let's cheer on the SEC to regulate a bunch of shit coins. Like, I think this is not the cypherpunk Satoshi mentality. I think these guys have kind of strayed a little bit far there. Ultimately, our federal government in the United States, if you're based in the United States, has been very harsh on crypto, like insanely harsh. Like, one of the kind of most strictly regulated areas of the economy. The fact that, like, this bill was just passed for in 2027 DeFi is essentially becoming illegal in the US. Crazy. I mean, this is insane. We we hopefully will have 4 years of hopefully 4 years to build. And, like, we need to build so much in the next 4 years that there's no way this shit can ever happen again. So we need to, like, get past the ability for these guys to shut this stuff down. Because we were still kind of at risk of that in the last 4 years, and we've persevered. But yeah, it's a major problem. Crypto was clearly on its way out in the U.S. That was all, like, the way you don't just kind of regulate things by just banning things. People will, like, kind of riot and get upset. What you probably do is just, like, slowly strangle the industry over time, and then it just moves away. And this is the way that, like, the general population doesn't notice it, but you, like, are able to kind of affect change. And you watch the most effective leaders in effective countries, they have a decade-long plan to just slowly, destroy their enemies. That's what was happening to us.
Yeah, I mean, with Operation Choke Point, and I don't even know if the Node Monkey is a security or not, right? There's still no idea. We don't even know if Ethereum is a security or not, but now it's an ETF. But he still won't come out and say that it's not a security, which is insane. But yeah, I'm so glad that I do predict as well that this is finally over. So.
Yep. I agree. And I think it's huge for our space, more specifically in the Bitcoin ecosystem, because there's so many products growing. But I agree with all of you guys on that. We can move to number 9.
AI agent platform hits top 10 on Coin Market Cap.
Bro, this may happen quick. Dude, like this could happen this week. Like seriously, I mean, I don't know. Virtuals is at $3 or $4 billion.
Yeah.
These things are rocket ships, and yeah, it just the AI agents again. I just gets to my feeling that this is going to lead 25, and right now I think on what's a cookie.fun, there are only like 400 or 500 agents right now. It's some crazy low number. There are going to be 20, 30, 50, 100,000, 200,000 agents, 1 million agents. And we've seen with Pump.fun, the revenue on these things is crazy on these platforms. I think Virtuals made, I want to correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like $35 or $40 million over the last 2 months on their platform. It's bonkers. And once this really takes off, it's going to be even more crazy. So yeah, one or multiple of these platforms is going to go bonkers for sure.
Yep. And Virtuals is ranked number 33 right now. So
yeah,
it's got about 23 spots to move up.
Yep.
On. So
All right, go to the next one
Awesome.
here.
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin.
Oh,
does
this is a bummer.
not reach. Whoa.
Oh, wow.
I don't like this.
You're killing our space. This is my thought on this is actually, this gets back to the change in administration. I think we're going to have this kind of positive US vibe with Trump taking office that actually makes people feel like, oh, the dollar's actually strong, even though they may continue to print and spend a whole bunch of dollars. Bitcoin going to a half a million or $1 million or whatever is based on the dollar, weakening, right? And so I feel like we may get this like artificial pump of USD that kind of, strengthens it against Bitcoin. This is not my long-term thesis, but I feel like we might get some of that. But I'd love to hear Leo's opinion on
it. Yeah. Look, I actually do think the US dollar is not going anywhere anytime soon. I think if anything, these stable coins are gaining popularity. As far as will we hit 200K? What is this for during 2025, Adam? Is that
this is 25. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it happens. Like if we can't hit 200K, like was it a true crypto bull run? You know what I'm saying? So I would certainly hope so. But yeah, TBD. We'll have to find out. I'm definitely going to screenshot this and send it to you though.
Some people are saying the bull pulls in like the height of the bulls in 26. Jake, that was Jake's prediction, is the bull run actually peaks in 26. So I don't know if it goes
so like the last cycle, right, it completely overlapped with like this macro economy, like crazy COVID bubble stimulus situation. And when that popped and like, what was that? Like there was like a pickup truck. There was like an electric pickup truck startup that was like worth.
Oh, Nikola.
Yeah. So like that kind of stuff is going on. Like crypto clearly overlapped with that situation, like that market froth.
Yep.
And like this time, maybe we have like an AI bubble in the global economy. It seems like it. You look at the value of these companies, crypto might align to that. So maybe the question to be asking is like, yes, we have these 4-year cycles and maybe it will just happen to kind of work out again. I think probably, in my opinion, probably it will. 2025 will be the big year. But maybe crypto doesn't top until the AI bubble pops. When we have there's been the .com bubble for the internet in 2000. AI will probably have something to that level, but even more. And maybe crypto just goes up until that pops. So maybe the question is, when does that bubble pop? That's maybe the question to be asking.
Yeah. And I just want to, I want to like preface my AI bullishness. Like, do we get any functional products that are actually working in 2025 and actually make people money? It's possible we don't, right? I mean, part of this frothiness is, these things take, like, do I think AI is revolutionary? Yes. Might it take, even at its hyper speed of improvement, another 5 years? Absolutely. So yeah, just to preface my AI bullishness with, some reality that these things often take far longer, usually decades longer than we think they're going to take. Yeah.
That's a lot of sideways for next year. If we don't hit 200K, I can't deal with sideways.
Yeah.
Just go low.
If you think we're not reaching 200K in 2025, don't ask Shizzy what his price is, because it's
Well,
It's
I said
wild.
this cycle. Adam could be right. We could go into 2026 and hit my 700K prediction.
Oh,
But
700K. Holy cow. Bro.
I had to
strategic
talk him down
reserve.
from 7 million. No, I'm just kidding.
Holy shit.
no.
No, if we hit that, I just for me that means the US dollar. For me, that means the US dollar has hyperinflated, and so
No, that means the U.S. dollar has Bitcoin backing. That means U.S. and China has Bitcoin backing, and Canada has Bitcoin backing, and it's a race to get these 16 million Bitcoin that are actually in circulation, right? So
yeah, gotcha.
All right. So here's the next one here. Wow.
Now this makes this off Leo as being underly bullish, like or bearish. Like, why are you so bearish, Adam? Dog goes to 5 billion. This is my like bear. It's a little bit bear case. I do believe Runes is the winning fungible token standard on Bitcoin. Dog, I believe, is the winner. And 5 billion is, somewhat my bearish take, but I just think it's that safe number that 5 billion is completely doable when you look at whatever dog with hat or any other kind of meme coin. Yeah, certainly 5 billion is right in that kind of sweet spot.
Well, Adam, you know what I like to say? To go to 100 billion, you have to go to 5 billion first. So
That's right, man.
I agree with this prediction.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, it seems like you get to 1 billion and then the 5 billion is like,
it happens fast.
It happens.
Think about how quickly Dog went from 200 million to just 1 billion.
That's right.
A 5x just in like 2 or 3 months here. So it's the same thing, just at a larger scale. Obviously, less coins make it to that level up there, so it's harder to get up there. But once you get to the billion, going to 5 billion, it's the same 5x.
That's right.
Yeah. I think Shizzy, you and I were kind of in this range, right, for 2025.
Yeah, I think it's between 5 and 10, depending on how high Bitcoin goes.
Yep.
All I will say is you are not ready.
Let's go. I'd be very happy for it.
Shizzy, I would also be very happy. Maybe we go to McDonald's, maybe we go to the moon. But I literally cannot see this like in between outcome. I just only see this 2 sets of insane outcomes. I just can't see any other one.
Yep. I mean, it's possible meme coins completely die and dog dies with it and whatever. But the thing is with that, the thing we know is that meme coins are going to come back, and when they do come back, dog will still be there. So yeah, I'm definitely long term not selling any dog.
Well, that's going to be a lot of buying the dip though. So I think if there is no in between, and I was a betting man, I would take the upper side of that. So super excited about that.
Well, this is number 6 was Ethereum. He hits 8K. And for me, it's funny because my ETH Bull friends are like, "What? Why are you so bearish on Ethereum?" But this is, whatever 2x or 3x from here. I don't even know, but I just think Ethereum still is the winner, other than Bitcoin, and all the L2s happening on it. All the attention. Kind of. This is my like thesis that the ETF, actually the normies in the U.S. and all their 401ks wake up to this like, oh, this is a world computer. Oh, this makes some sense. And people actually, like most people in the States, still don't know what the hell Ethereum is. When they finally wake up to it during the bull cycle, like, oh, crypto, oh, Ethereum, oh, I can buy it in my 401k. This is my Ethereum, ETF inflow thesis. People are saying, oh, it's 15K, 16K. I don't see that, but I think Ethereum does get a nice bull run pump. What do you guys think?
I think because there's an Ethereum ETF, I think like the institutions that, helped pump the Bitcoin, they might kind of do what, the traditional whales did previous cycles and rotate some of those profits into the Ethereum ETF. So I think this is a fair prediction.
Plus fatality,
I actually think that's very bearish. I just think a lot of people are going to start waking up. ETH has a 6% APY blocking it on chain. I think that is going to be something people will start waking up to and really see that. My prediction is between like 18 and 20K.
Whoa.
And that's just that represents too what Bitcoin did, in 2017. It kind of did that same thing. But I think once these businesses and they actually get real regulation, once they realize you can earn 6%, I mean, you got to think that that's more than bonds, right? It's more than most bonds. So if you can get 6% on chain with an asset that has, potential, could be always the number 2 cryptocurrency in the world for a long time. I mean, I definitely think that 8K is kind of on the bear side.
Well, you have to also remember that bonds are, as of right now, more secure than doing that, right? So I think that regulation can change that, though, in the future. We'll see.
Yeah. All right, we'll go to the next one. Dogecoin ETF. Oh yeah, it's easy, right? What do you think?
Well, this is my meme coin play. Number 5, Dogecoin ETF gets approved. I think this is I think it's written now. I mean, with Doge happening as the Department of Government Efficiency, I just think this is the Wall Street's meme coin play. And so yeah, I think this happens. This would be fun. What it means for Doge price, bro, I have no idea. Like, whales hold so much Doge, the miners hold so much Doge. So much Doge is being produced every single day. It's literally crazy the price moves at all. But I think the ETF happens. So yeah, this should be fun to see.
Yeah.
This could be what sends dog to 30, 40 billion dollars, something like this happening.
Yep.
And not just dog. I'm talking, dog with hat, dog obviously on Bitcoin and like so many other dog meme coins could really fly up because of this, right?
Yeah. I mean, I
What do you
think,
think, Leo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Leo, do you think Doge hits its all-time high this cycle?
Yeah, I mean, look, I do think meme coins have kind of like matured a bit and are like more of an established narrative. So I do think we're going to see all-time highs for Doge and SHIB and a lot of these coins. The ETF is really interesting. Like, I do see this world where I think what the market really wants, what institutions really want, I don't think they necessarily just want to buy a Doge ETF. I don't think you're sitting there as like a capital allocator and like you're like, it's kind of hard to tell your LPs that you bought Dogecoin ETF. But I do think I think they still do want exposure to these things. I think they're probably going to get it in some sort of package. Like Coinbase released this like Coinbase 50. It's like an index. It's like a weighted index of the top 50 tokens on Coinbase. I think you're going to have some sort of instrument like that. And I think there will be kind of, we talk about it as like you can wrap tokens and bridge tokens to other chains. We need to wrap and bridge tokens to the real world economy, to the like traditional financial system. And I think you'll have some instruments like that, probably not in the next 12 months, but soon, where there's going to be a button in Fidelity. These hedge funds will have access to it. These maybe endowments will have access to it. You're just going to be able to kind of click a button and own the top 50 meme coins, and it'll be like an index fund. And I think that is how a lot of these meme coins will kind of get into that world. Maybe faster than like, instead of approving like 50 ETFs individually for the top 50 coins, I think Coinbase will kind of wrap that in a single basket. I think a basket is what the market wants.
Right.
Yeah.
So one final point here was that when I was in Bitcoin Nashville, I was at the Litecoin conference, and the guy from Coinbase, who was like head of, I don't know, institutional, blah, 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 whatever. They started pestering him with questions about, a Litecoin ETF. And his thesis and what he said was, hey, good, to be clear with you guys, I don't think a Litecoin ETF is going to happen. And people, what do you mean? Why? And he's like, the main reason is your story isn't good enough. You don't have a good enough narrative that people are going to latch onto. And I think that's the thing that separates Doge.
Right.
Doge has this really interesting narrative, cool. And now being part of Elon and, the government, that's why I'm bullish on number 5.
If it were to happen, though, Dogecoin ETF, Leo, do you think that is something that would positively affect like dog or other dog meme coins?
Yeah, absolutely. It's think of meme coins as an asset class like every other asset class. I think there's this default inclination to kind of treat them like a joke, like a bunch of 4chan degens on the internet don't know what they're doing. it's $100 billion asset class. So I think as that matures to $1 trillion, even higher, I definitely think you're going to see very like any asset class maturing, like all those steps you go through, it's going to happen. And ETF is part of that. And I think that just kind of signaled to the market that the asset class is maturing, and that's great for the entire market.
Yeah, that is true.
100%.
All right. Let's get to number 4.
Leo, I had to throw in my old. I had to call back the HNFTs. Number 4, HNFTs fail to get mainstream attention. Now, you guys probably aren't into HNFTs and stuff like that.
Historical?
Yeah, historical NFTs, right? So this isn't to say like what you're looking at right there is a Lost Robbie. Lost Robbies, CryptoPunks, to a large extent, even Rare Pepes. Those will get traction this cycle because they're like the leaders. They're the ones the high-end art collectors collect. So those will pump throughout this cycle, I have no doubt. But the ones that like Leo and I would know about, I don't know, the Realms of Ether,
The nerdy stuff,
the pixel maps, the Namecoin assets. Do I feel like those get mainstream adoption? No. I actually think that what we were talking about in 2021 and 2022, where this might be a decades-long play, I think it needs at least another cycle of awareness building. I don't think there's been general, adoption of digital assets in mainstream. My kid, when he's playing video games, he still buys Fortnite skins. He doesn't own them. That adoption hasn't happened yet. So I feel like we need another full cycle before this thing really, we really see it.
That's very interesting. So do you guys think that like early inscriptions, rare sats, cursed inscriptions kind of get bundled into that? Because even though it is, it's more of this like collector's sector, it is fairly kind of newer. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, so like Adam, I was much more careful answering this question 2 years ago. I don't care as much now, but yeah, look, this is so. I'm sorry, Adam and I have just been through a lot together. And,
Gotcha.
This,
I'm a collector, by the way.
What are NFTs, Leo? Leo, what's an NFT? You guys don't understand this, dude. We viciously debated what is an NFT for 3 months.
We haven't even got past like the HNFT space is still in the part of defining what the NFT is. We're not even
so stupid.
The H part is the next step, I guess. But look, the bottom line is, it's like everybody has a slightly different definition for these things. Do I think the earliest Ordinals inscriptions will have like a similar kind of collectible value and historical value in 10 years as they do today? I think probably. Like I think as maybe like some early Rare Pepes or CryptoPunks do today. I think there's definitely a thesis there. I think it's very hard, and where I've gotten myself into trouble in the past is like maybe trying to like predict how people will think in 10 years. I think this kind of rubs some people the wrong way. Like as an investor, like that's absolutely what I'm trying to do all the time. But I do think, there's a difference between actually for sure in the market securing the historical provenance versus some maybe thing that's new or 1 or 2 years old. Does that sit in the same, can that sit in the same bucket if we kind of fast forward in our heads? And I think that's where it's like, I try to not give my opinions as much because it can be very controversial. So maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. But I think there's definitely kind of a narrative and a similar appeal to collectors. I would say the Rare Pepe collector in a decade probably is also interested in this like early Ordinals collections and early Ordinals inscriptions. In a similar way, I think there's a similar, I think that will resonate similar to that individual who collects, Rare Pepes. They would probably also collect early inscriptions.
Yep.
Yeah. So my family's actually really big into the tangible collectibles industry, and so I'm really big on the early Ordinals, and I'm actually excited to get into like Rare Pepes and stuff like that. So I think it does increase over time, but I look at it like the late 1800s when baseball cards were just included with like sticks of bubble gum or whatever, right? And so that took forever for them to realize that that was something valuable. Now, of course, today's technology, that's going to be, you know, condensed, but we still probably looking at like 10, 15, 20 years. But that's just my take on it.
Yeah, I would agree with you totally. And I think, you know, my encouragement, and I try to, you know, we tried to do this in 2021, Leo and I, just to like the communities within there where you get these, like, I mean, the one that popped on the timeline, you know, Leo asked AI XBT, well, which is the real first 10K, right? Or whatever on Ordinals, right? This sort of, when it gets into being toxic, meaning one community of holders battles another community of holders on the timeline, I would, you know, all my Ordinals friends, I would deeply encourage you to not do that, because it makes people not want to join those collectible communities. Because it really killed the HNFT. All momentum the HNFT community had was killed because anybody who wanted to enter that space or was slightly interested in a lost Robbie immediately got hit with what's the definition and all this kind of garbage that made it not fun to collect it. Like, why, if it's not fun, why would I want to collect it? And so I'd encourage, you know, Ordinals collectors to not play that game and just make it fun and, you know, and just, you know, enjoy it. And in a decade, you know, something might be there. You know,
yeah, there's a way to debate people, Adam, where you're respectful and appreciate that they have a different point of view. And then there's a way to debate people where you're negative and hateful.
Totally.
And like, you just have to, you have to have the former, right? Like you have to be able to have a conversation with someone who has different opinions than you and come out of it and still be friends. And like a lot of people lack that skill on the internet.
Totally.
I agree.
Yep. By the way, did AI XBT get back to you on which was the original?
You know what? It's interesting. So AI XBT has been down for the past 12 hours. I'm not sure.
No shit.
Yeah, it hasn't replied. Let me confirm that, but I checked like an hour ago.
Cool.
Yeah, it hasn't replied. Okay, hang on. It started replying again, which is good.
We'll have to pay attention for that on the timeline. We'll
Yeah.
see what he's, but it's funny.
Yeah, okay, it started.
Yeah.
It's actually okay. This is interesting. So it's caught up. They have a queue, right? They have a queue of these posts that it needs to reply to that stacks up. And my post was 13 hours ago, and it has not replied. So it should be coming pretty soon, I would think.
Nice.
That's crazy. It's just gonna run through the queue.
I mean, it's amazing, dude. How is that guy's become?
Well, Udi had to fire it back up. That's
Yeah,
what
man.
happened.
Yeah, dude.
All right. Let's get to number 3. Solana hits number 3 on CoinMarketCap.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think Solana's the big, you know, winner as far as chains go this cycle. That, you know, obviously meme coin super cycle, Solana's led it. Not much argument there. Whether or not they can lead in the AI sector is still up for debate. I don't know if you guys saw, but Vifu, which is like a launch pad like Virtuals, kind of launched their V2 this morning. So we'll have to track that and see if, you know, they can really compete in the AI infrastructure. I mean, Eliza is basically on Solana as well. So I think Solana may lead the AI infrastructure thing as well too. So yeah, Solana seems like the winner to me.
All right. Yeah. I agree with you. I think Solana deserves to be number 3. I guess my question would be, does Solana go to 2?
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. But you know, that would maybe go against your ETH at, you know, 17,000.
Yeah, it definitely would.
I mean, that's Solana at what, $7,000. Right?
I mean, I think Solana is, you know, I was just talking with my friend Chris, who is a Solana kind of maxi, and you know, he says there's like a huge unlock in like, you know, February or something. You know, so
it's massive.
When all these, you know, Sachs or whoever is dumping billions of dollars of their tokens, makes it hard for the price to rise, I think.
Man. All right. Yeah. Number 2. L2 struggle for attention.
Yeah, I mean, this is, you know, to Leo's point about the L2s, it's just with all of them happening, I don't see it happening, man. To get somebody to move to an L2, and I'll give it a specific example, Pudgies, who we're actually going to be probably launching on their chain, the abstract chain, These guys are probably best positioned to get people to go over there and use it. But even them, I just see it's a struggle. It's going to be, why would I want to go there? What's going to be the incentive? Like we've already seen it with Blast or even Merlin on Bitcoin. Like Merlin, I think actually has done maybe the best job of getting people over there. But the moment those kind of rewards stopped, who cares about Merlin chain? You know, it's really, really difficult to keep people's attention and money on chain. But Leo, what do you think, man?
You have to have a game-changing protocol and multiple, like I think, to keep the attention economy there. Like when GMX was hot with Arbitrum, right? It brought a lot of attention over there, but then it kind of faded. But you know, the ETH L2s are definitely in a different place than the Bitcoin ones right now, because Bitcoin ones are still a part of this infrastructure build out. But yeah, I'd love to hear Leo's opinion as well.
Yeah, so look,
Leo's like, fuck the L2s, man. I don't want to hear this.
I mean, here's what I love L2s for, and like I've this whole L2 thing. I think the terms get all kind of mixed up. I do just think of like you're either the blockchain where the tokens are created, or you're the blockchain where the tokens are like traded and you can do a bunch of stuff quickly. I think the really valuable tokens like the CoinMarketCap Top 100 will, like a lot of these tokens will be created on chains like Ethereum or Bitcoin that like meet some threshold of security and provenance that you want to inherit to make sure there's only ever 21 million of your token. I think people are kind of missing the point creating tokens on these like random blockchains and creating tokens on these random L2s that just don't have strong security. I do think these L2s, quote unquote, but really I just mean like other really fast, high throughput, maybe not as high security blockchains. I think these are incredible places to trade these tokens, to do DeFi with these tokens. So I think the paradigm will be you've got your like big, you know, pretty secure blockchains, and you're going to bridge your tokens to these other much faster, less secure blockchains. And that's where a lot of people will actually use them. So imagine, you know, fast forward 10 years, right? I don't think you download an X-First wallet. And like, I don't think to own a Bitcoin asset, you do anything on Bitcoin L1. I think you'll probably download some app for some other chain that allows you to like quickly on that chain buy a bunch of the tokens that were created on Bitcoin L1. I think Bitcoin L1 will have like be the #1 chain for creating tokens, and export, like their main export will be the creation of the tokens. But then people, once they're secured and we know there's only 21 million of them and that's backed by Bitcoin, you bridge it over to another chain and then it can be like moved around really fast. So I'm bullish on L2s in that regard. I'm just not bullish on the creation of tokens on L2s. I think that it's just people kind of missing everything there.
Yeah. Same thing with art too, right?
Oh yeah. Same with Ordinals, 100%. It's like, again, I know there's maybe some, there's some people out there that are like really bullish on like collections on L2s and these sorts of things, or meme coins on L2s. I just don't see it. We can agree to disagree. I think if you're paying $10,000 for a JPEG, inscribe it into Bitcoin forever. This is like such a no-brainer. And yeah, to trade that, I think it makes a lot of sense to bridge that to an L2. You know, use something like Emblem Vault to bridge that to a faster, you know, just better user experience ecosystem. So, you know, we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I'm very, very bearish on pretty much any token that's not created on like Bitcoin.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you there. Like, I don't know, I had a Twitter argument about, I don't know, X copy was getting paid to drop a collection on, I don't even remember the chain. I'm like, never heard of it before and don't remember it now. Right. But they probably paid him a couple $1,000,000 to drop some collection on that L2. And, you know, people are like, who cares where it's minted? I'm like, bro, there's no way. This has no value other than it's an X copy. Like X copy dropped shit on fucking Polygon back in the day. You know, it's just like he can do it because he's X copy, right? But for the rest of the world and every artist, like it just doesn't make sense to me. I'm with Leo 100%.
Yeah. Well, it's very interesting because there was actually a protocol on Merlin that launched called BTC.fun. And how they work is you could launch a token, but it has to be a Rune or a BRC20. and what they do is you can only launch with the Bitcoin wallet, right? So Xverse or Unisat, and they use account abstraction for that. But anyways, it will go to layer 1. It will mint the rune in total supply, and then it will bridge it, NPC. So it's not trustless because we don't have OpCat or whatever, So in that aspect, it kind of does do what you guys are saying, minus the trustless bridging. And I think that that's the part that's missing on the Bitcoin side.
But that's missing everywhere, right? So yeah, I mean, but that makes sense to me. Something like that actually makes sense.
Yeah. For the L2s on ETH, I think Base wins the TVL race. I think Base is going to be number 1. I think Deutsche Bank's going to come in and take. They're going to have an L2, and I think Sony's going to be the top gaming chain. So in my opinion, I think these L2s actually explode in the next 2 years, and I don't think it's just Ethereum. I think it's going to be on Bitcoin as well. But everything. I'm just hoping that a lot of these Bitcoin L2s can just stick with these L1 assets, but we got to find a trustable bridge. A trustless bridge, something that, and until that is found, I don't think we're going to get there. That might not be till next cycle if we get OpCat and something like that. So.
Imagine like buying a meme on Deutsche Bank's
it won't be but this is all going to be TradFi. TradFi is coming on.
I know.
That's kind of my point.
I'm just making a joke.
Yeah. It's funny though.
But we should create meme coins on Deutsche Chain because
if they allow us to.
100%.
All right, here we go. AI agents lead the bull run.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that Adam's bullish on AI agents.
There's zero question here for me. I don't see anything else. This is all I'm seeing. Obviously I'm siloed now. But this is my, I have certainty. Let me put it this way. I have certainty that this is happening, man. It's definitely happening. It would be I would be stunned if something else led us into 2025. Yeah, that's where I am.
Man. Well, this has been absolutely fun. Leo, you've been hanging with us for an hour and 45 minutes, man. Appreciate your time. I know you're a very busy man, but I would love to give you time to kind of talk to our community and maybe any predictions that you have for 2025.
Yeah. Don't change the way you guys are. 2025 will bring craziness. There will be a lot of people coming to the Bitcoin ecosystem that maybe don't have the same values that we do, that will dilute our culture. We want to welcome them, right? But we want to, not lose what made this place special. So, Bitcoin is valuable because of a set of properties and a set of values that are held by a bunch of people. Bitcoin is not really, don't think of it as a technology. It's an idea that exists in a bunch of people's heads. And Bitcoin is valuable because that idea is very strong. And we need to learn from that, study that, and not just kind of repeat the mistakes that all these other chains and ecosystems have made. So, stay true to there's something very beautiful about the space right now. There's a purity to it. Let's try to keep that culture and not feel like we just need to try to copy Solana with everything and copy their culture to Bitcoin. I think we fail if we do that. Maybe we all make a lot of money, but I think we ultimately kind of fail we miss the huge opportunity, which is to actually evolve all of crypto and show that Bitcoin is a place to create long-term value, not just do pump and dumps and rugs. So let's try to continue doing what we're doing. I like a lot of what I see, and let's not just let go of that. Let's try to hold on to it for as long as we can.
Well said.
Man. Well, thank you so much, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'd love to have you on again. If you ever have time, please reach out to me. I'll get you on any day. We're live Monday to Friday. So
yeah, man, you guys are on a grind out here. Keep it up. I think this is going to be a huge year. All the builders in this ecosystem, everybody who pretty much stuck around in crypto during the bear market, 2025 is where you get to reap the rewards from that. Everybody else left. And the four of us here, I see you guys every single day grinding during a pretty brutal bear market, to be totally frank. It's been better the past year, but 2020, late 2022, 2023 was rough, guys. It was not a great situation for a lot of crypto. Just imagine teleporting back a year and a half ago. The morale was very brutal. We have gotten we're out of the woods. And I think that's a testament to just the fact that there are people that continue to believe in what we were doing here in crypto. And I think those are the people who deserve to be rewarded. And, I hope Ordinal Revolution, I really genuinely I see the opportunity to build. I know Bankus kind of gets joked about, but massive podcasts on Bitcoin. I think there's a huge opportunity there, and 2025 is the year where that actually gets to happen. It's the 1 year out of the 4 years where you get to really have extreme growth. And I'm really rooting for that for you guys and Emblem Vault. Super pumped to see this AI later today, Adam. So maybe we don't even have to wait till 2025. So I'm pumped for all the builders who've stuck it out, and very excited to experience 2025 with you guys. Go on this journey, and we'll see where it takes us. Thank y'all.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you, man.
All right, we'll see you later.
Awesome. Bye, guys.
Absolutely awesome. That was fun. But Adam, we got you all to ourselves now, man. How are you?
Living the dream, bro. Leo's absolutely right too, guys. This is the time, all you put in all this hard work. Who am I? I don't know. BitBoy, right? BitBoy, for going off the rails and all this sort of stuff. But you look at his YouTube channel, he would say, at the start of 2021, he had 5,000 followers on YouTube, right? And 6 months later, he had 1 million, right? It's that type of thing. So just be prepared for that success. I'm excited for you guys.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully it comes. But we're very niched, right? That's the one part that kind of is our, it's awesome because we're a place where people can, choose to advertise for and actually get the right people to come to them. But we are also a place where we're kind of held down by that as well. But I wouldn't change it for the world. I love being in Ordinals. I love being in
well, I mean, at the core, Bitcoin isn't niche, right? I mean, you guys are niche a little bit, but at the core, you're also just Bitcoin. And so, again, that's
exactly
you're niche, but you also are wide as well. So
and the user base will grow. And that's the biggest thing is I look at the analytics that Magic Eden shows, and it's Bitcoin is number 2 in terms of digital art, in terms of volume, monthly, daily, whatever. And that's with probably maybe 10%, maybe 20% of the user base of Ethereum, right? So that will grow and everything will grow along with it. But yeah, it's been an amazing 2024, and I think 2025 is going to be awesome as well. I think it's going to be even better, but I think we're ready for it, right, Shizzy? I don't know. He always wants to work all the time.
Put in the time. You fucking damn sure you're ready for this shit, man. I know it feels even the last week there was Jesus, is the bull run over, bro?
Yeah,
that's just that's inexperience talking. We haven't even begun, dude. It's gonna be massive, and it's gonna be longer than you expect. And there are gonna be these down cycles where maybe that's the end, and then it goes crazy, and it's well, maybe that's the end. Bro, that happens times over the next year. It's not gonna be the end. Right. It's very.
I just can't deal with the sideways. The sideways is the worst for me. From Bitcoin just going from 100 to 90 back to 100 to 90. That is the worst. I mean, especially, we did it for 6 months. I mean, we did a show every single day, 5 days a week, right? That was Bitcoin was from 60 to 40K. And every day was can we start getting bullish again? And it was smacked in the face every single time until November. And then that was the most, the fun, besides January and February, November was, absolute great. So it's we wait these 6 months periods to have some fun, right?
Just don't get shaken out of your bags. Hold tight. And, I wouldn't look at really anything for another 4 to 6 months. It just feels there's going to be some shakeouts. People are going to try to trick you out of your Bitcoin. Just hold firm, man. This is the time when you're no, we're just starting the bull cycle.
Let's get it.
Wait, so you think it's going to get worse?
Man.
Oh, I mean, there may be, what's worse? It's we have a bad 3 days or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's oh, it's over. I don't know who was.
I think everybody's
over, dude. I'm what? Because whatever, our agent's native token went to, I don't know, $5 million. Oh my God, it's over. Pack it up. I'm like, bro, we haven't even launched the agent yet. What the fuck are you talking about? It hasn't even begun. What are you talking about? I tell you, you lost the attention. It's over on the timeline. Go fuck yourself. You don't know shit, dude. Come talk to me in 6 months. Like, talk to me in 6 months. Yeah. Gotta have the longer.
Man.
Love it.
Well,
Awesome.
it's been absolutely awesome, Adam. Thank you so much for joining us. We do have you again on Friday for Doge Corner, Bell's Corner.
Doge, come on.
Doge is just in my head for earlier.
Hey, Doge, man, yeah.
My bags. No, I'm just kidding.
But I'd love for you to maybe give it an end of the year. I mean, we're hours away from the end of the year. I'd love to give it an end of year speech to our community.
Well, I mean, it's I couldn't be more bullish. This is one of those things, Mike. I'm full bull, obviously. I know I've already said what's going to lead this cycle. The smart money, I would say, or if you have some money still on the table you haven't deployed, the simple bet would be these kind of launch pads. And I know some are at $3 billion or whatever, maybe, but paying attention to those, where money is going to flow to those. It's kind of like the safe bet. Agents, or betting on an agent is the same as betting on a meme coin, right? Be prepared to lose money. But start paying attention to it if you're not already. It's starting to happen on Bitcoin, and Emblem's going to be a part of that. So definitely, if you're following me or Emblem Vault, pay attention. And for today, agenthustle.ai may be going live today. So, check it out a little bit later.
Alpha, let's go. I'm excited for Agent Hustle, man. I can't wait to start talking to him, stuff like it. Well, so Agent Hustle, he's going to be well-rounded, right? He's not just going to be like Solana, Bitcoin. He's going to be pretty much everything crypto. He's
going to be cross-chain agent. And really what he's going to do for Emblem is kind of highlight what's possible with a cross-chain wallet. What's possible. I mean, if you think about agents, do you want your agent siloed on base? Right? It makes no sense. It makes no sense, right? You want your agent to interact with agents on any chain, no matter what happens, right?
Yeah,
and so,
absolutely.
Yes. So Hustle's going to be, our front-facing agent to interact with other agents on other chains. So, highlighting what the Emblem Vault wallet can do.
Can agents? Obviously we don't have smart contracts on Bitcoin, but can that agent become that smart contract that basically
now you're going down rabbit holes?
Like, can it?
Now you're going down rabbit holes. But the reality is yes. The thing is though, then the agent becomes the thing of trust, right? And so can you trust these things, bro?
Well, can you verify it? That would be it,
that's the
right?
thing is that leaves an opportunity, a business opportunity for something like Certic or something that does an auditing of the code and make sure there's no backdoors and stuff like that.
The reality is we have to build out all this stuff and it has to be all figured out.
Yeah.
Right.
But sure.
Can an agent act that way? Sure. But then the agents can be tricked and hacked and there's all these risk factors that need to be played out. Like even I'm talking about, okay, well, agents are an incredible way that maybe they can deal with DeFi, but at the same time, like there are security risks here. So all of this stuff needs to be built and figured out. We're literally inning one of this, but what we've seen with AIs is the development happens incredibly quickly. I mean, I'm sure you guys saw the AI-16 Z, repo on GitHub. It's the number one repo in the world.
That's crazy.
This last month, the world, dude. So it just kind of highlights what's happening. And when you have open source, the development can happen at just lightning speed. So, yeah, very exciting, very bullish.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, Adam, and we'll see you Friday.
I appreciate you guys. Have a great day.
See you, man.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Well, dude, what a show, bro. Like, absolutely what a show. We got 2,015 people. This is what I wanted for today. I want to go out with a bang.
Mission accomplished.
Year, man. Mission accomplished for sure. I just want to thank the Black Runner. Amazing two guys, Will and Iman, absolute legends in the space. We hope to be half of what their podcast is. And then you got Leonidas, which is, the dog father himself. He's one of the guys who's building something special here with Ord.io. And I think it's going to be something that we're going to look back to in a few years and be like, oh, wow, Ord.io. It really changed the game. And then Adam McBride with Emblem and everything he's doing with bells and stuff like that. I think we had just the best guest we can possibly ask for today. I want to give a special thank you out to those four people.
Yep, I agree, man. It was a blast too, just to kind of pick the brain of those people too. So, but we want to thank you guys the most and wish you guys a happy new year. That's coming up here in about what, 9 hours, 8 hours. Yeah, something like that. But 2022 people, awesome attendance, man. And we hope that we know that you guys learned something if you were at least paying attention from the show. And again, if you guys wouldn't mind checking out our partners, we just talked about Emblem Vault, but we do believe that they're going to be the interoperability tool for the Bitcoin Layer 1 asset class. You're going to be able to jump your ordinals from Bitcoin to other, Bitcoin Layer 2 like Merlin or other even Layer 1s like Solana. They're going to be working on all of it. And you're going to be able to do so in an easy way. It's just going to take the gas cost of the chain that you're bridging to. And then also their AI wallet, the agent wallet for Bitcoin. We are definitely going to go over that with you guys as soon as it drops. So you guys are educated on that as well. And you can learn more about Emblem Vault at emblem.vision. And BetBTC is the predictions market of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They utilize ICP and Bitcoin technology for you guys to be able to place bets on their marketplace. If you have Bitcoin on an Xverse wallet, you can simply deposit directly from there. It takes 6 blocks, and then you can start placing bets there. They have great bets relating to the Bitcoin space, sports, and all types of stuff. And they also are going to have a runes coming up in the future. And you can actually be a part of that by earning points. You can earn points on their platform by just making small bets or even just creating an account. You get 50 points right off the bat. So you can learn about them at betbtc.win. And then BitPerp is the perps and leverage decks of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They announced that their paper trading competition should be live January 2nd. We will confirm that after our meeting with them. But you're gonna have a chance to win 10,000 USDT if you are in the top 3 of that competition. You can learn more about these guys at bitperp.io, and they will have some form of synthetic Bitcoin Layer 1 fungibles for you guys to be able to trade, whether that's runes and BRC20s or just runes. They will have that, and that's going to be very, very fun and interesting. And then Fluid Tokens. These guys are amazing at what they do. Just constantly just trucking along. I mean, got a shout out from Charles Hodkinson from Cardano, because they are originally from Cardano, but building over here too, as they are amazing UTXO devs. They were the first to offer retail staking vaults on Bitcoin Layer 1. There's only a couple, like a small handful of projects doing DeFi on Bitcoin's native layer, and they're one of them. And they're also building the bridge from Cardano to Bitcoin as well. There was an announcement that we went through over on the show. So if you stake your Dog Go to the Moon to earn Dog Go to the Moon and Memento Mori, you should have received that, or you have the ability to go
Tomorrow.
unstake. And okay, is it tomorrow? Okay,
yeah.
So you'll be able to unstake that and receive those rewards tomorrow. If you are a founder of an Ordinal collection, or you deployed or etched a rune, and you want your holders to be able to stake, reach out to Raul, which is the CTO of Fluid Tokens. He'll get you set up with a staking vault. If you can't get through to him, reach out to us. We'll get you hooked up. And then Merlin Chain, your #1 scaling solution for Bitcoin native L1 assets and protocols. If you're a builder and you have a protocol on Bitcoin Layer 1 and you want your protocol to be a little bit more flexible and a lot quicker, you can build on Merlin Chain. They have amazing builder grants there and great builder support as well. And if you're a user and you want to be able to trade for runes such as Dog Go to the Moon, you can do so on merlinswap.org. They have the synthetic version over there for you, which you can bridge back and forth. And then also please check out our integrated partners, Foxy, which is building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, as well as their first-person shooter game called Clan Wars. We should be streaming that live on Saturday morning. And then Ordinal Hive, the aggregator Ordinals marketplace for Bitcoin Layer 1 and Layer 2. You're going to be able to find the cheapest Ordinals there. And their mainnet is going live, I believe, Thursday. We'll have Fonzie on with us as well. But thank you guys so much. We're so thankful for you guys, just checking out our show and our website and everything. And a great Happy New Year to you guys.
Yep. Great job, man. If you guys wouldn't mind checking out ordinalrevolution.com, we have some of the best articles dating all the way back to last year. If you know someone who just entering space, please send them our website. It can really help them get started and code up to where we are today. If you guys need a VPN, we have the NordVPN right here, 70% off. Just come here, click the link. That'll take you to the NordVPN. Guys, don't travel the webs without a VPN. If it's not Nord, get somewhere else. You do not want people getting your IP address that can eventually get to your address. You guys are, it's not secure. Do not do it. Get a VPN. Use it as soon as possible as well. If you guys are going to Bitcoin 2025 Las Vegas, we will both be there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be absolutely nuts. But do not wait till next year to get your tickets. Get them today. Get them tomorrow. Just do it. Do it as soon as possible, because you're going to see in February and March these tickets are going to be way more pricey than they are today. So definitely get your tickets as soon as possible and get them through our link. It helps the show. If you guys need some more merch, we have some of the best merch in the entire crypto ecosystem, not just Bitcoin. Just click our store tab. That'll take you here. We got t-shirts, hoodies, hats, school bags, and so much more. My favorite is the hoodies. Check out the hoodies, guys. We have so many great hoodies. Rock your favorite rune, and we got so much more. We got ordinals as well. We got the Billy Cat. We got the Node Monkeys, the Toothies, and so much more, guys. Check everything out at ordinalrevolution.com. And guys, we are live Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 4 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. We appreciate 2,047 of you guys. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Peace.
We OG. Oh no, G. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload, yeah. Experts on reload, yeah. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock, ayy. Runes is coming, everybody on a knot, ayy. It's a nuisance, Ordinal Revolution, ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, it's my guy for real, bro.
Run stuff.
Got friends right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, that shit found fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, lock it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nookies on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me.